Hey, what's up, guys? Hello. Happy Monday. I hope everyone's having a good start to their week. I know I didn't go live Saturday and Sunday. Bro, I just couldn't. So sorry. Yo, Jace, what's good? Who is the other guy in the drawing? Oh, you mean this? This right here. One of my best friends in the entire world. And you know, sadly I haven't talked to him in like 5 years. Feel kind of bad. But when we do talk, man, we talk for hours. And it's like no time has gone by. This is my best friend from the military. His name is Joseph. Joseph Toth. One of my best friends. Great. Always had my back, man. Dude's awesome. And he's hilarious, man. Some of y'all think I'm funny, right? Sometimes. Like, some of y'all think that sometimes I have the capability to be funny and say funny things. Yo, this guy was on another fucking level. He always made me laugh, dude. And when he told you stories, even if the story was 100% bullshit, it was still hilarious. That guy really could have been a stand-up comedian. He really could have. Always made me laugh, dude. Always. It was something he said or something he did. He was just a good guy. Okay, my bad. Fuck, man. All my shit's dying. No. He's not Robin Williams funny. The only person that's Robin Williams funny is Robin Williams. I'm giving him some credit, but let's not get absurd, okay? I don't have any friends like that. Wait, Edgar's funny? Sometimes, man. And I'm not even funny on purpose. I don't try to be funny. I'm not a stand-up comedian by any means. I don't think I ever could be. I stutter too much to be a comedian. I just do. And I have this problem called epilepsy that causes me to stutter sometimes and just like fuck up words, or just like, I don't know, my speech will skip a couple of words. I can't do things even if I wanted to. I can't. That's just, I just say things and sometimes y'all laugh. I don't think I'm funny. I just go by y'all's reactions to shit, on either the stuff that I say or the opinions that I have. But this guy, this motherfucker right here, this motherfucker was genuinely hilarious. He could straight up tell the best stories. Okay. Yeah, I know, but you can always check some of those videos on BitChute. I know that that's a tall ask and that's a tall order, and believe me, I don't require any of you to go there. I'm just telling you that if you want to see remnants of my old YouTube channel and old videos from like 5 years ago, you're gonna want to go to BitChute. I don't expect any of you to go there. BitChute question mark? Exactly. It was an alternative video sharing platform that came out early in the 2020s, and it was basically before Rumble, and essentially what it was one of the first alternative platforms of its kind. So remember back when Donald Trump was running for office, you know, in 2016 and in 2020, and like fake news and the term fake news started to become very relevant, and people started getting banned for opinions and COVID and stuff like that. BitChute was born from that. BitChute was born from cancel culture. And while it was used for a time by some people, it gained a little bit of traction. It never fully took off like YouTube. It never fully took off like Rumble. And hell, to be honest, I think Truth Social did better than BitChute, which Truth Social is completely backed by Donald Trump. It's his platform, I believe. But yeah, BitChute was just one of those platforms that you could, if you couldn't get away with uploading it to YouTube, or you couldn't get away with saying it on Twitch, you could do it on BitChute. And for a time there, every video I uploaded to YouTube back then, like 5 years ago, also got uploaded to BitChute. And then one day, my automatic uploader stopped working. And so there's only like about 80 videos on BitChute from my old channel, but if you want to watch them, they're there. And yeah, the name of that account is ex-military criminal, like all the way spelled out. It doesn't have an abbreviation like XMC. So I don't expect any of you to go to that and check it out. I did a video on it once upon a time, a couple months ago, but there's really nothing special. Nothing to be remembered. And I checked some of the videos that were on there, and they weren't even my favorite ones. They were just like kind of whatever videos. Some of them were fun, but I think that there's a video on there about when Antifa gets their ass whooped. I do believe there is a video on BitChute of me reacting to Antifa getting fucked on moments. No, I have no story times on BitChute at all whatsoever. I started uploading to BitChute after I did most of my story times. So like my video on how I got my name and what and why I made my name ex-military criminal, that video's gone, bro. And I've had people ask me, hey, would you consider making a part 2 to that video, or just like retelling the story and going over all of that again? And man, it's gonna have to take a couple thousand of you to actually inquire about that for me to even do that, because that video in itself, it took me 3 hours. It only took me the time it took me to record. I recorded for like an hour and some change. But then that story, it took me 4.5 hours to edit. 4.5 hours, dude. And that video was like an hour long. It could have been 3. It could have been 4. But when you do story time, you kind of have to leave shit out. And you kind of have to just like paraphrase and shit. And a lot of work went into that video that I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting to put as much work into that video as I did. And to remake it, to be honest, at this point, if y'all wanted to relive that, I'm better off just going under my bed right now, grabbing all of my paperwork that pertains to my court-martial, which is this thick, and just reading you off my charges. At this point, I'm better off doing that than going over the whole fucking story, piece by piece, detail by detail. And I mean, I still remember it like it was yesterday. I can recall it right now. Allison, how are you? The Friday night ones, what are you referring to? It was just, it was a lot that went into that video, and I don't tell that story often, man. I really don't. I told that story one time on YouTube. I've never even told my mother that story. Or like, I've never even told my mother of what I went through when I was deployed. And the first time my mom ever heard of my experiences overseas was in that video. And sometimes I kind of regret making that video because she found out about it. And that was something that I never wanted to put in my mom's head. My dad, whatever. My dad served in the military, he knows, right? I don't mind telling him stuff. But my mom, she's fragile. Not like in a bad way or anything, but she's just like fragile to this stuff. And she's not as desensitized to it as me. So I didn't want to sit my mom down and be like, oh, hey, mom, guess what? You know, I got blown the fuck up and this and that and blah, blah, blah and yada, yada. And I kind of went crazy and I kind of broke protocol and I kind of broke the rules and I kind of got fucked by UCMJ and blah, blah, blah. I didn't want to tell her that. I didn't want to tell her what I went through. Because then she would worry. And my sister did the same thing. There was a couple times my sister was deployed to Kuwait where there was just like some stuff that happened, and she told me about it, but she didn't tell mom. And because that's just, I feel like most soldiers are like this. You'll tell a complete fucking stranger your stories before you tell a family member. And especially a family member of the caliber of your mother, right? Because, and on top of that, bro, it's not even the fact that I wanted to make her feel bad or that I was afraid that she would feel bad. I didn't want her to look at me different because of what happened to me, or because of things I had to do, or because of the choices I made, or because of me getting in trouble and stuff like that. I didn't want her to look at me different, so I just didn't tell her. I just kept it to myself. That's it. I'm good, Allison. Just having a good Monday. The past 2 days, I've had some really bad stomach problems. I didn't go live Saturday or Sunday, and to be honest, I can't really recall what I ate. But just imagine like constantly throwing up all the time, but instead of throwing up, I'm having a shit. And it's like that. So it's oh, which by the way, I did make headway on that. By the way, Jace, some of y'all might not know. I don't really talk about it, man, too often, but I've had lawyers working on my discharge for like the past 3 years. And after years of gathering evidence, information, photographs, testimonies, letters of recommendation, letters of character witness statements from friends, family, prior service members, acquaintances, people that I met in the service. After all of that, and I had to go to a board. Well, I didn't have to like physically go. It was over the phone. I went to a board and I got questioned and interrogated by a couple of colonels and sergeant majors and a therapist, man, that inquired about my military career and inquired about why I got in trouble, why I did the things I did, blah, blah, blah. Basically, like an interview, and basically me pleading my case on should my discharge be upgraded. Because as it sits, it's other than honorable. And so my case was for them to either upgrade it to general, which I would be fine with that, or an honorable, either one. I just don't want to have this other than honorable anymore, man, because it's just like, it's hard. It's rough. It sucks having that on your record for a lot of jobs that I would love to have, right? So, yeah. All right, so got quite a bit to do today. Well, I mean, we got quite a bit of stuff we can do. Yo, by the way, last night. Oh, and that board hearing that I had, where I talked to all these colonels and stuff, that was back in January, and I still haven't gotten an answer yet. But from what my lawyer told me, he said that it went really, really good. And interesting fact for those of you that don't know, so like my board happened in January, right? And this was a culmination of 3 years of work with me and my lawyer. And I call in, right? And one of the highest ranking people there is like reading off the procedure of how the board's gonna go. And it's not just me on the phone. It's a couple of other soldiers and their lawyers. This was like a group thing. When they do these things, I thought that it was just going to be a one-on-one individual, right? Which it was, but the very beginning of it is collective. Everyone gets the procedures read off at once. They tell you what's going to happen, how it's going to go, who's going to go first, second, third, blah, blah, blah. And during the phone call, I'm being real silent. My lawyer is talking, and the other person that's, I don't even know what this person's title was. They were just giving a rundown of how it goes and yada yada. And reading off, making sure that all of the soldiers that were supposed to be on that call were on that call. And they read out the names of the soldiers that were on that call with me, all there to get their discharges either upgraded or what have you. And two of the names that they said when I was on that call, I recognized. Clear as day. and one is like, what just happened? Okay. And one, his name is unmistakable. I'm not gonna tell you his last name. I'm not gonna say who he is. But he has one of those last names that when you hear it, you're just like, never in my life have I met any other person with that last name. It has to be him. And two of the last names that I heard when I was on that call, I served with my first tour. And funny thing, when I heard those last names, I was like, I'm hella curious, bro. And I actually have the means to find out what happened to them. I called my buddy McCoy, who served at the same unit with me. And he can confirm that the two soldiers, I gave him the names, right? And he's like, I was like, what happened to these guys? He's like, oh, one went fucking crazy and went AWOL and tried to fight a sergeant in the parking lot. And the other one became a very, very crazy alcoholic and an abusive partner to his lady. And a lot of trouble for him as well. And I was like, dude, really? He's like, yeah. Like, it's crazy. I can't believe you didn't know. I was like, nah, man, I didn't keep up with those guys. But guess what? I just heard their names in this fucking hearing that I had this morning with the board. And he's like, dude, really? He's like, that's probably them. And I was like, that's crazy. I didn't think I'd ever hear of those guys again. And I don't even know what they're doing. Alex, what's going on, man? I don't keep track of them. They were friends, but they're not friends that I kept contact with after the military. I could tell you that I served with them, but as far as like a friendship like I had with this guy right here, yeah, I didn't have with them. Just we went on a lot of missions together. We did tower guard a lot together. You know, just we did a lot of drinking together is what we did. And one of them, funny enough, it's hilarious. The one that became an alcoholic and started hitting his wife, when we were deployed, I was at E3 at the time, and he was at E4, and we were actually becoming really, really good friends, right? Just naturally, because we had a lot of the same shifts together and went on a lot of the same missions together, because our platoon would get split sometimes between on-base duties like tower guard and working the B-Dock and working ECPs, and then other times we'd actually leave the FOB, right? So it just depended on what the mission was, man. And we started becoming fast friends until he got promoted. He got promoted and turned into the biggest asshole in the fucking world. I was like, dog, I'm not asking for special treatment from you, but like, can you get off this fucking high horse? You're a buck sergeant at best. You've been here 5 seconds and you think you're a goddamn sergeant major. Stop. And we just like slowly stopped being friends because he got promoted. And I was like, well, that's unfortunate. And then he got demoted because he lost his weapon in Afghanistan. He didn't lose it. He left it at the front gate where any fucking local civilian or like literally the enemy could have grabbed it. Luckily, somebody in our platoon grabbed it as we were coming in the gate, and then he got demoted, and his punishment was that he had to stand guard in front of the first sergeant's tent for 7 whole days. And the only time he could leave was to get some sleep, eat, and use the bathroom. And he was like in full gear too. And it was just so hilarious seeing this jackass just like standing guard by the first sergeant's tent. And it was just like, wow, that is the biggest bitch duty I've ever fucking seen. You're protecting the first sergeant from nothing. Like, you're just standing there. That shit was so hilarious to me. But hey, I got in trouble too. I had to do around about the same thing. Guess what? He laughed at me as well. He's like, haha, you gotta walk around a full battle rattle all fucking week. I was like, fuck you, dog. You got demoted. I'm just having to walk around in this shit, dick. Yeah, no, I didn't fuck with him. When he was on guard at the first, I did not fuck with him because, to be completely honest, I wouldn't have put it past him to hit me. Had I fucked with him while he was on guard, like talking shit and making fun of him, I wouldn't put it past him to hit me because he already got demoted. What else do you have left to lose? What, E4 to E3? Word. Cool. You get that back in a couple of months. Maybe even less time than that. So I just genuinely thought he would hit me, and I was like, nah, I'm good. I really want to get in a fight. Okay. We've rattled on enough. Funny how a taste of low power changes them fast. And it's not even that much power, man. When you think about Allison, when you think about the power structure of Enlisted, it's not even that much power. But it's power nonetheless. It's kind of like It's kind of like your first line supervisor for your civilian job. You have a boss that you never see, but then you have this one fucker here that is like slightly above you and kind of like treats you like shit because they're above you. And you're just like, wait a second. You don't actually own this company, do you? You don't actually have any equity in the company at all. Who the fuck are you again? Why am I... Bro, get out of my face. You know what I'm saying? It's like... But in the military, it's not like that. Even if they're even the slightest bit above you in rank, you have to obey. Unless it's in the realm of the E4 Mafia. If you're in the realm of the E4 Mafia, E4 is telling E3s what to do, you can get away with saying no. As an E4, you don't have that much power. You're just very close to getting said power. As a corporal, you have slightly more power than an E4 simply because you have more responsibility. But as a straight up specialist, you don't really have that much power. You can delegate, and if you delegate the right way, people will do shit for you, and you can tell people what to do. Granted, you have to earn that respect. Once you become a sergeant, respect doesn't matter. People have to listen to you, right? So, it's just... You can get away with saying no to an E4. You can even get away with saying no to a corporal. I've said no to a corporal. He's got those 2 stripes. That doesn't mean dick to me. We get paid the exact same. So... But there's just certain ranks you can't say no to. Depending on the order, if you get an unjustified, ill-advised, borderline illegal order from an NCO or a commander, you can refuse that order. I don't know if any of you have ever seen the movie A Few Good Men with Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson, but there are orders you can disobey. It just depends on the order. And if your sergeant or CO isn't willing to do that order themselves, or does not have the physical or mental capability to carry out that order themselves, they cannot give it. They cannot give it if they are not willing to do it themselves. So, take for instance, you're E3 and your sergeant tells you to do push-ups. I don't recommend you do this, but if your sergeant can't do push-ups themselves, like let's say they have an injury, right? They got injured playing basketball, they got a profile, they can't do PT for a week. In that week, it would be ill-advised for that sergeant to make another soldier do push-ups because you physically cannot do it yourself, okay? And as an NCO, you should not give orders to your troops that you would not be willing to do yourself. Don't tell your soldier to go over there and kick that fucking landmine to see if it's a dud or not when you wouldn't go over there to kick the landmine. You know what I mean? So, there are some orders you can disobey. I watched the whole... Speaking of A Few Good Men, I actually watched... There's a YouTube channel that goes by the name of Legal Eagle, and he basically broke down all of the laws in the movie A Few Good Men. I also watched him break down all of the laws that were broken in the movies Top Gun, My Cousin Vinny, and a couple of other ones. And I really enjoy watching him break down the law in this way for some of these movies that I really, really like. Because, you know, I've seen Top Gun, and wow, they broke a lot of laws. Like, a lot of military laws, man. If you think about it realistically, the end of that movie should never even happen, man. Tom Cruise's character should be out of the fucking service before they even get halfway through the film. So there was a lot of shit that was like overlooked. You know that scene in Top Gun where he buzzes the tower, he flies really close to it? You know how illegal that is? It looks cool, doesn't it? And all of us, like, civilians and even veterans alike, we're just like, that's badass, bro. Hell yeah, that's funny. It's not a laughing matter. It's not even anything to giggle about. You know how illegal that is? And, like, you'd lose your wings for that. There's no slap on the wrist. There's no... And especially if you disobey a direct order from a commanding officer and you're in a fucking plane of that caliber, you'll never fly again. You'll never fly again. Delta won't hire you. American Airlines won't hire you. You have fucked yourself in every sense of the word. Fucked. You look up the word fucked in the dictionary. They might as well just change the definition to your face. It's like, it's wild. Speaking of a movie, and then we're gonna get started, I promise. I just feel like I haven't talked to you guys in so long. It's been a couple days. I just recently watched a movie last night that was some of the most bonkers shit I have seen in a while. Some of the most bonkers shit I have seen in a while. The movie goes by the name of The Substance. It has Demi Moore. Mind you, when I first started watching the movie, 15 minutes into the movie, I didn't even know it was Demi Moore. And then 20 minutes into the movie, I'm like, wow, bro, that looks like Demi Moore. And then I paused the movie and I Googled it. I was like, holy shit, that is Demi Moore. I haven't seen that lady in anything since fucking G.I. Jane, really, I think, man. I haven't seen many Demi Moore. She's a great actress, but like, dog, this movie was insane. And it kind of goes off the rails at the end, and it's like a little bit ridiculous and kind of wacky. But like, that movie is fucking insane. I recommend y'all watch it if y'all ever get the chance. It's like a sci-fi horror thriller that's just... My jaw dropped at certain scenes. And it takes a lot to fucking surprise me. And it takes a lot to like make me be like... But that's exactly what I did at some parts of that movie. I was just like jaw hitting the floor. So, y'all ever get a chance, it's insane. Hopefully there's a sequel, because now that I know what the drug does, I kind of just want to know who makes it. Okay. We're gonna start. If there's nothing new here, I'm gonna try to make this quick, so we can get to what we really want to do, which is y'all's requests. Like the hamburger, like Hamburger Hill. What is Hamburger Hill? Falcon and Snowman? What the fuck is that? Deer Hunter? Do you think it's possible for someone to reach a rank like lieutenant or major without ever doing a dick measuring contest at some point? Yeah. Definitely possible. It's just more so in the officer realm than the enlisted realm. It's more ass kissing than anything else. But there's a slew of them that make it to high ranks without having to kiss ass or without having to, I don't know, do uncharacteristically stupid shit or fuck over your lower subordinates to benefit your career. They exist. It's just, I don't know, man. You never hear about them because they're doing the right thing. You're never gonna hear about people that do the right thing in the military. That's like, except for that one medic from Fort Bragg. It's very rare when you hear about a soldier doing something good, because soldiers doing good things is business as usual. Once you're used to it, you don't care. Yep, doing the right thing, cool, whatever. It's only when a soldier fucks up that you hear about it. So. Damn, I haven't seen any of those movies, Allison. Hamburger Hill? I like me some military movies too. Falcon and Snowman? I haven't, dude, speaking of movies, I want to see that I want to see that new movie Warfare about Iraq. I still haven't seen that. And I think tonight I'm going to watch Smile. I haven't seen Smile or the sequel, and I heard that the sequel was better than the first one, so I'm going to check that out tonight probably. God damn it, I still haven't seen Fury. Every time I think about it, bro. I'm just like, yep, I'm gonna watch it. I'm down. I'm so hyped. I'm so pumped. And then, like, I don't know, man. 11 p.m. rolls around, and I'm just like, actually, I'd rather just get stoned and scroll through YouTube Shorts. That's what happens, man. That's why I never watched Fury. Surprised I even watched fucking The Substance last night. It gets so hard for me because, like, it gets late. I'm like, fuck yeah, movie time. And then I just start looking at my phone, and then I blink, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, okay, well, no movie. I just wasted all that time. So, you see my predicament with movies. There's so many movies that I want to watch, like right now. What happened at Fort Leonard Wood? This is so fucking stupid. This is so fucking stupid. I don't even want to read it because it's just gonna further piss me off. This is so stupid. This is about as stupid as back when they tried to ban tattoos in the military. I don't get it. Army battalion bans use of profanity. Then you might as well basically ban soldiers from even speaking. Huh? That's like a sec. It's not even a second language, bro. That's like, it's ingrained. It's in the blood. You mean to tell me that we can go to a foreign ass country and kill a whole bunch of fucking innocent people because our government doesn't agree with their government, but we can't use profanity? Make it make sense. Surely this isn't gonna be enforced in combat, right? But I guarantee if it is, the motherfuckers enforcing it have never gone to combat. The 43rd Adjutant Battalion issued a memo last month instructing military... Okay, listen. When I was stationed at Fort Stewart, my First Sergeant Durant, black guy, got our company together and said, listen, soldiers, there will be no N-word around here. Ever. I don't care if you're black. You will not talk to each other this way. Not in this fucking company. He could do that, right? I didn't care. I don't use that word. But some of the black dudes were pissed because that is the way they spoke, right? And they just didn't use it around him, right? That's whatever. You're just like, that's one word. But fuck, shit, ass, piss, donkey dick, barracks hoe, barracks slut, desert bunny, cocksucker. Like, what? I don't. How does that negatively affect the service to where you have to ban it? Are we less effective as a military because we use profanity? Are we any less lethal on the battlefield because we use profanity? Let me guess. Some fucking fairies were like, oh, they're not professional enough. You send us to other countries so we can kill people. What is professional about that? An April 17th memo with a subject line that read, profanity-free campus. That is some fucking liberal-ass cringy hogwash if I've ever fucking heard it. Made it clear that the use of profanity, vulgar language, or rude gestures or remarks is prohibited for soldiers operating during duty hours at the unit, which is stationed at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Right. Okay. Listen. if you're wanting to enforce this at the brigade or at the battalion level, sure, it's a whole bunch of fucking kiss asses up there anyways. Nothing but fucking snotty-nosed ass officers, right? But if you're gonna enforce this on the one platoon that's been in the motor pool for 4 hours waiting on their dumbass sergeant to make a decision on what to do with their day, and they're pissed off and they're like, you know what? Fuck all this stupid bullshit. Are you really gonna hold them accountable for using profanity? What about the infantry? Huh? What is this? Or is it? This is just for Fort Leonard Wood, bro, but this is a slippery slope. What if more installations start doing this? What if Fort Benning does this? The home of the infantry. Special Operations is not going to be affected by this at all if this goes full circle. But for right now, it's just Fort Leonard Wood. Wow. That's embarrassing. I am now ashamed to say that I trained at Fort Leonard Wood. Because now, if I say that, people are gonna look at me weird. Oh, you're from that one fucking soft ass installation that's afraid of words. God, this is gay. Such language does not align with the Army's core values and undermines the integrity of our soldiers and our formations. Read a copy of the memo shared on Reddit. The memo specified that bad language will not be tolerated during meetings, briefings, or training exercises. Okay, dude, listen, I can agree to the meetings and I can agree to the briefings. Even though that rarely ever happens because it's how we speak. Listen, this is how military speaks. All right, man, so fucking listen. All right, so 0600, we're gonna fucking go to the arms room, all right? I'm gonna fucking pull weapons. And then we're just gonna chill for a little bit till our ride gets here. Then we're gonna fucking hop in the LMTV, all right? And then we're gonna go out to the range, fucking qualify. You're gonna fucking zero first, and then you're gonna fucking qualify, and then fucking if all of you qualify, then we can head back to the company area and y'all can get out of here early. But if no one fucking qualifies, then we're just gonna have to stay out there until everybody fucking qualifies. Y'all copy? That's how they speak, bro. It's like a F word after every 3 words. That's just how it is. I don't know what to tell it like that, and that's how my drill sergeant spoke. All right, man. Fucking 06, wake up. We're gonna hit the fucking range, and then we're gonna come back. Dining facility, all that shit, shower, shave, get to bed fucking early. And then fucking we got mail call, and then fucking we got training tomorrow, and then fucking we got rappelling, and then like drill sergeants would cuss us the fuck out in basic training. If you're gonna do it, if you want to do away with profanity, you got to do that shit at the very beginning. At the very beginning, you got to start at basic training, because the language we use when we leave basic training is the exact same language we used in basic training, because that's the exact same language that was spoken to us, man. When you're in basic training, they break you down to build up a whole new person. And what do they teach you? They teach you with screaming and profanity. That's how it works in basic training. So we go to basic training, we go to our unit, everyone speaks the same way because everyone went to basic training, and then we go to combat, and that language is even more amplified because of the situation. Maybe you almost died that day and you're fucking pissed. You're fucking irate, and you're like, these goddamn fucking cocksuckers almost fucking killed me. Oh my fuck, wait till I fucking get my hands. This breeds soft. It just does. I can get the meetings, and I can get the briefings. It is kind of unprofessional, really, if you think about it. If you're in a briefing or you're in a meeting with high-ranking people, there's like a goal and a purpose, and you're speaking like a staff sergeant. You're speaking like a drill sergeant. You probably shouldn't be speaking that way in But in formations, you know how many times I've been in formation? At parade rest, just like, God fucking damn it. Where's the first sergeant? Can we get the fuck out of here? Man, it's like 45 fucking minutes. It's like 5:45. Man, can we go? Now, I understand cussing someone out is cussing someone out. You will get in trouble for that in the service. But for the casual, everyday use of profanity, like, hey, you wanna go fucking defect? I just said that and didn't even realize I said the F word. That's how soldiers are. They use profanity and don't even realize what they said until after they said it. Sometimes they don't even realize after the fact because it's just ingrained. Hence why you're trying to change the culture, but you're not changing the culture. For some of it, I understand, but for other aspects of the military, like being in the field, an FTX, formation, a training exercise, Wood explained via an emailed statement that the investigation was launched after concerns arose over the battalion's climate and culture in the wake of an alleged extreme use of profanity. Someone said the N-word. Oh, no, not the N-word. Extreme use of profanity. That means someone lost their mind, which happens in the military. Sometimes you have that one soldier that he just breaks, and it's fuck, shit, ass, piss, motherfucker, god damn it. Bro, just think of a cuss word, and he probably said it in his tirade when he was losing his mind. Believe me, I've been there. I lost my shit in Afghanistan, and every other word was profanity, right? And like I had veins popping out of my neck and my forehead, and after I was done screaming, I felt dizzy. Like, and then I calmed down, and then now I'm speaking the way I am now. I mean, dude, I use significantly less profanity now than I did when I was in the service. Like, I really have toned it down, but that doesn't mean that I won't use it. Because it's still second nature, given what I'm talking about, given... You know what I'm saying? Like, you can go out here and die for your country, but God forbid if you use a cuss word. Information regarding the nature of the investigation or its findings were not made available to Military Times. You know what I think it was? I think it was some Karen that walked past a smoke pit that had a whole bunch of lower enlisted, and these lower enlisted were speaking how lower enlisted speak, and she was appalled. And she's a civilian too, at that. And she was just like, I can't believe soldiers speak. My husband doesn't speak that way. Fuck you, lady. Like, it was probably that. It was probably that. Like, dude, and it sounds ridiculous, right? And you're probably thinking, nah, that can't be true. That's too ridiculous. Let me give you an example of motherfucking ridiculous, dog. When I was stationed in Italy, at Caserma, Italy, right, with the 173rd, I went to the PX, the Postal Exchange, and I bought a shirt that had picture of Darth Vader on it, and the text at the bottom said, "Who's your daddy?" I walk out, I buy the shirt, right? A couple days later, I go back to the PX to get more stuff or just to buy stuff, right? And a lady sees me. She's like, "You got to take that shirt off. I'm offended. This, and that. That's disrespectful. That's what cringe or what, blah, 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 blah." And I was like, "Lady, I bought the shirt in the PX." She's like, "I don't fucking care. Blah, blah. I'm telling my husband." I was like, "Great, cool, call him. I'll tell him to go fuck himself too." Like, so don't tell me that's not a possibility when I went through something very fucking... I bought that shirt at the PX and this bitch is in my face, not allowing me to leave the PX, literally obstructing my path, trying to argue with me about a shirt I bought in the same place that she's shopping at. So, fucking stupid. To ensure compliance with the obscenity ban, the Army created a 4-strike punitive policy. This is the gayest shit I've ever heard, dog. And I can't think of any other fucking adjective to use. The first strike will yield a verbal counseling. Strike 2 will lead to a written counseling placed in a soldier's file. Strike 3 will result in the removal of favorable actions, like promotion and stuff like that. But if removal of favorable action includes promotion, they have to kick you out, because if you're not ranking up and excelling, you can't stay at E4 for 20 years, Doug. You can't. You used to be able to. Now in the military, you can't. You can't be at E4 for 20 years. They're not going to let you. You have to like continually rise up to a certain point where you can just ride that rank until the end of your career. But E4 is not one of those ranks. So, and then the final strike will lead to separation for misconduct based on pattern behavior. My question is, who's going to enforce this stuff? Because it's not going to be just the lower enlist that don't agree with this, man. Dude, some of my... Sergeant First Class Torres. Sergeant First Class Torres, man. Infantry guy. My first tour. Bro, the mouth on this dude. And he sounded like this when he spoke. He didn't play around. God damn it, Falcon. I told your fucking ass to get your goddamn gear and get to the fucking truck. Copy? Alright? You get that 50 cal ready. I don't want to hear shit else. Tired of answering your fucking questions. Alright? That's how he spoke, man. And like... And I was like, okay, cool. I'll see you there. Roger that. I didn't think anything of it. I wasn't offended. I wasn't mad. That's just the way he spoke, and that was it. Cringe. The most productive work environment is one where employees and soldiers treat each other as they would like to be treated. As a former member of the E4 Mafia, I do not support this. I do not stand for this. I do not endorse this. I do not like this. Okay? Let soldiers be soldiers. Man, goddamn. I don't... Let them have tattoos and let them use profanity. Who cares? Right? Who cares? I don't. My neighbor probably doesn't. It's just you that cares. But... Where's Pete? Where's Pete? Hexith. Hexith. Do something. Do something. You said that you wanted to hit the factory reset button on the military, right? Which you kind of did with that whole no more men in dresses thing that you did with the whole banning trans from the service. We're on the right track. You need to intervene with this. This is soft, bro. I can understand this if you are the board of directors at Starbucks, okay? And you're in a board meeting with attorneys and shit. That's where you be professional. Okay? I understand if you're in the Oval Office speaking to the president. Professionalism, you maintain, okay? But when we're doing the job, man, like, get fucked. Go fuck yourself. For real, we know when to be professional, and we know when not to be professional. We were completely unaware that when we're outside of the view of civilians and cameras, we thought we could be ourselves. But we can't. We can't be ourselves. It's like... I would make fun of another country if they did this. So what do you think those other countries are saying about us right now? I know some people are going to say, oh, dude, it's not that big of a deal. It's just profanity. Dog, do you understand how ridiculous that is? Do you understand how ridiculous that is? You've never heard of the NFL or Major League Baseball or FIFA or the NHL or any one of these organizations, you've never heard of them dictating what their players can and cannot say on the field. You know what they do? They simply just don't mic them up. Because we've seen that from time to time, right? Mic'd up, where you get to talk to the player as they're playing, or you just get to simply listen in on the play, on either things they say or calls and stuff like that. And it's very interesting, and it's pretty cool sometimes when you get to hear what an athlete is saying while they're playing, either calls or strategies and stuff like that. But when you're competing against the best, there will be tension, there will be frustration, right? And what better way to release out your frustration than fuck? I feel good already. That felt great. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even all that mad. So, like, this is the lamest, cringiest shit I've seen come from the military yet, short of those garbage-ass recruitment ads during the Biden administration. Mylanta. And you're not going to do this to special operations. That's just not going to happen. If you even bring up the idea of this to special operations, special operations don't exist at Fort Leonard Wood, I don't think. But I'm just saying, bro, like, and this will never reach that, because again, this is a battalion thing. So for those of you that don't understand, Fort Leonard Wood is Fort Leonard Wood, okay? Fort Leonard Wood has multiple battalions, have multiple units, have multiple companies, okay? One battalion is a couple thousand soldiers. That's it. That's not all battalions. It's not even Fort Leonard Wood wide. This is one specific battalion. So at Fort Leonard Wood, let's just say, I don't know how many, let's just say for the sake of argument, you got 8 battalions. This is just one battalion enforcing that rule. One. Which to me is stupid. I wouldn't enforce rules unless the government told me to enforce rules, right? As a company, or as a battalion, or even as a battery, right? Or a brigade, like, because that just seems like, okay, it's against the rules in this battalion, but everywhere else on the installation, it's okay. Every other installation around the country, it's okay, but just not at this one battalion. It seems so stupid. But this says the 43rd Adjutant Battalion. Hold on for a second. Hold on. I'm still upset because this is a slippery slope. What if every battalion across every military installation across the country starts doing this? But it's making sense now. Can I not go to you? Oh my god. No. God. Can I not access usarmy.mil? Anyways, bro. 43rd AG Reception Battalion. I don't know if that's the same as 43rd Adjutant Battalion, but I typed in 43rd Adjutant Battalion and it came up with 43rd AG Reception Battalion. The battalion processes initial entry training, IET soldiers, for assignments to units at Fort Leonard Wood for basic and 1 station unit training. Fort Leonard. There it is. Thank you. Good God. USArmy.mil. Your website sucks. I got great internet. This is what it is. I think this is who, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is what this profanity ban, this is who this profanity ban is going to apply to. Now, I'm not trying to piss people off, but if this is the kind of people that this is applying to, then this ain't really that big of a big deal. That I'm thinking about it. This is like, these are all office jobs. All of them. If 43rd AG reception is different from what I'm reading here, 43rd Adjutant Battalion, then it's different. But if it is the same, this is the people it's going to be affecting. Basic training, I think. Look at what it says here, bro. Once you arrive at Fort Leonard Wood, a drill sergeant will greet you. You will be treated with professionalism, dignity, and respect. You know, when I got off that bus and that drill sergeant was like, get the fuck off the bus, shut the fuck up, sit down in this fucking chair, and they shaved my goddamn head. I really did feel dignity and respect. This isn't what basic training is for. I think this is what it is. I think this is what it is. Because you don't get... I didn't feel any of that when I went to basic training. Professionalism, dignity, and respect. Now, if you mean professionalism as in they didn't beat the fuck out of me, then sure, they were professional. But whoever wrote this didn't go to basic training. But when you go to reception, you meet, not only do you meet drill sergeants, you meet receptionists, man. So you meet civilians. You meet people that are going to walk you through paperwork. People that are going to walk you through direct deposit. People that are going to walk you the whole bunch of stuff. And CIF, man, Central Issue Facility, where you get your uniform, your boots, your equipment, right? That place is littered with civilians. So if this is who it's applying to, then I don't think there's a loss here. I don't really think this might even be a big deal. Because, and I think that the reason for this is because a lot of civilians work in tandem with the military. Reception, a lot of civilians work at reception. A lot of civilians work at CIF. A lot of civilians work at MEPS, right? So in places like that, I could see probably actually why they would make a rule like this. No profanity, because you're dealing with civilians and, well, civilians are more fragile and sensitive than military people. I'm not saying that to talk shit. It's being proven right here. It's being proven right here. Right here. In this whole fucking thing. That's it. I think this is purely civilian driven. Because no one in the military gives a fuck about bad language. Nobody. Like, I know one time my first duty station, it was a Friday. Somebody got in trouble that Thursday, but our first sergeant wasn't there. But he was there on Friday. We get to PT formation. He gets there and says, hey, fuck your weekend. You're coming in tomorrow, and you're coming in motherfucking Sunday. Fuck your trip to the bar. Fuck your trip to goddamn Venice. Fuck your trip to Germany. All you motherfuckers are staying here this goddamn weekend. That's literally what he said word for word. Verbatim. In the exact same language. Same cuss words and everything. I wasn't even mad that I got cussed out. I was mad that my weekend was gone. But you put a civilian in that formation and they're just like, wah. I guess, man, because like I've never heard of a military person complaining about profanity. Again, there's places where you do it and there's places where you don't do it. A promotion board, you probably shouldn't use profanity, even if it's funny or fleeting. And then, this is the lamest shit in the world, dog. You can't convince me otherwise. This is lame as fuck, but hey man, as long as it doesn't have far reach, and as long as it doesn't affect the soldiers and the civilian, well, fuck the civilians. As long as it doesn't affect the soldiers that actually matter, then we're good. Actually, if it's just gonna affect civilians and a whole bunch of, I don't know, first and second lieutenants that no one ever sees anyways, right? Whatever. But if this is gonna affect the E4 Mafia, or like this is gonna affect like daily happenings at the motor pool or at a FTX, or if it's gonna affect that, then bro, this is so dumb. Soldiers have more things to worry about than what the fuck comes out of their face. Okay? Anyways, that one took a while, and now I'm in a bad mood. So we're done with these stories for the rest of the day. I could read one or two more, but nah. I've ranted long enough. Pete, you better do something. Because some motherfuckers are taking liberties. Fix it. It really does remind me of the whole tattoo debacle. Man, back in the day, when I was in the service, we could have whatever kind of tattoos we wanted. It just couldn't be above the neck. It couldn't be on your face. That was about it. So when these hand tattoos that I have, I got them in the service. And when I got them, I was allowed to have them. Now, my first sergeant was not pleased. My first sergeant was not impressed. He was not happy. He's like, what the fuck is on your hands? I was like, oh, tattoos, you like them? He's like, no, you're getting that removed. And I was like, ooh, actually, first sergeant, I don't want to be that guy, okay? And I don't want to be that soldier. But I kind of have to be if I'm going to protect myself here. And, you know, according to AR 670-1, I'm allowed these tattoos on my fingers. So the only way I get rid of them is if you foot the bill, First Sergeant. Would you like to do that? He got really pissed off and made me do push-ups, but guess what? Nothing else came of it. He shut the fuck up about my tattoos. Fast forward like a year or two later into my military career, Sergeant Major of the Army Preston at the time gets replaced by Sergeant Major of the Army Chandler, or vice versa. I can't remember. I think Chandler came after. And Sergeant Major of the Army Chandler came in and was like, no more tattoos, blah, 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 and all this stuff. And if you already have tattoos in places you're not allowed to have them, you get grandfathered in, and yada, yada, yada. Which I was like, good luck enforcing that. I've seen high-ranking officers with more tattoos than me. I've seen really, really valuable, hard-to-replace E7s with more tattoos than me. You're not going to enforce that, Sergeant Major. Good luck. And guess what? He never did. And it was always a topic of contention. Tattoos, tattoos, tattoos. Who gives a fuck? Bro, who cares? Again, you send us to another country to kill people. Who cares what we look like? Or what we even speak like, for that matter. We're doing a job that 99% of Americans don't want to do, so fucking spare us with your bullshit. Unless you're willing to do it yourself. My God. I don't care if my microwave has a decal of a fucking BBC dildo on the front of it. It heats my food, doesn't it? And people might say, dude, you're weird. You have a BBC dildo on your you have a decal of a BBC dildo on your microwave. What does the matter with you? Hey, it heated up my taquitos just fine. It heated up my food just fine. I don't give a fuck what it looks like. The only thing I'd probably have a problem with is a Nazi symbol, but that's not there, is it? I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what it has on it. I'm not spending money on another one because this one works just fine. The dildo doesn't bother me. It heats my food. It does its job. It serves its purpose. Who gives a fuck what it sounds or looks like? Does it work? Uh-huh. That's all you need from soldiers, bro. All you need them is to work. Who cares what they say? Who cares what they look like? That's always been my stance. And to look at it anything less or anything more complicated or more convoluted than it needs to be is a waste of time and brain power, and it's stupid. And if you think that military service members should stop using profanity, fuck your feelings. That's it. Disrespectfully, fuck your feelings. Okay. What do we have here? I know, I just ranted, and you know what? Is like, I felt myself ranting, and I even saw myself ranting. Like, it was like out of person experience, like an out of body experience. Like, I was right here, bro, and like, I saw myself ranting, and I was like, oh, I can't stop him. He's going, bro. He's on a roll. I'm gonna let him go until it comes to a natural conclusion. That's it. You can't stop that, man. That's like waking up a sleepwalker. It's catastrophic. So, yeah. Let's, we'll move on now. I don't want to read any more stories. Not if they're gonna piss me off. Have you seen that image about how in World War I it was concerning if you didn't hear the word fuck often because it signaled something was wrong? Oh, it reminds me of you know what? That Alex, that actually reminds me of what is it? I can't remember. Never mind. My girlfriend broke up with me last week, telling me she has to work on herself and go to college. After telling me for a year she didn't want to go back to college, and I'm quite sure she went back to her ex. Fuck her. Bro, seriously. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Like, I had an ex reach out to me after quite some time, and I didn't know what she wanted from me. And then I asked her straight up, what do you want from me? Right? And she says, well, you're just a really fun friend, and I just wanted to check up on you and see how you were. Oh, okay. Bet. So what I gather from that is that you just wanted attention. If you don't want a relationship with me, or you don't want to sleep with me, or be friends with benefits, then what do you want? You have enough friends, I have enough. You just want attention, and quite possibly have me on a roster that you can call upon whenever you're ready to have a relationship. Yeah, that's not gonna fucking fly. I don't wait on a motherfucker. Okay? Like, that's just the vibes I got. That may not even be what she was going for, but that's just the vibes I got, bro. Fuck it. You'll find something else. And I don't know how old you are, but if you're younger than me, bro, seriously, fuck it. You'll find something else. There's always someone else. There's always something else, man. That's it. So, don't waste your time. Don't rack your head. Don't rack your brain about it. Because I was racking my brain about it. I was like, well, what does this girl want from me? The last time we spoke, she said she never wanted to talk to me again. Right? And then the last time before that we spoke, right? It was like, she never even made an effort to talk to me because she had gotten a boyfriend. Right? So after all that of saying you don't want to talk to me, and then you do want to talk to me again, but then you say, nah, fuck you. I have a boyfriend, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. That's not a friend, right? Is it? And I racked my brain about it. I was like, why would she contact me? Why would she contact me? to be my friend, I know that's bullshit because the last time I was contacted about friendship with this person, it lasted a week. She got a boyfriend and then never talked to me again. Right? So like, what? What do you want? One friend. Just wanted to check on you. Cool, you checked on me. Great. I don't need friends. I have enough friends. Is it? Right? So it's just like, I'll be your friend and stuff like that, but if there ever comes a point in the future where you want to upgrade that friendship status to anything more, the answer is no. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like, no. I'm telling you, don't waste. She did the same doing to her ex multiple times, just leaving and coming back. Yeah, that's about what happened to me. Broke up once, broke up twice, broke up 3 times, broke up 4 times, and you know who's the biggest idiot here? Me. And then gets in contact with me, and guess what I do? I jump, right? Only for that not to be the case. And I'm just like, a moron. Why? What? Why even give that attention? Because I have a feeling that's just all she wants. Talk casually every now and again, and kind of like drip feeding somebody something that they really want. Just means when the real deal shows up, she won't be in the way. Well, it's not even about that. It's just, I feel exhausted by the whole thing. Yeah, when it comes to this girl in particular that I'm talking about, I'm Ross from Friends. It's actually a pretty apt comparison. Actually, I'm less neurotic and less retarded than Ross. Don't get me wrong, bro. There was times where I was like, oh my god, Rachel, break up with this fucking cringe fuckstick. I hate this guy. But, like, my app description, break up, get back together, break up, get back together. To what end, man? That's not a fun cycle. That's a fun cycle for, like, a teenager. Break up, get back together, break up, get back together. Make-up sex is always fun. But, like, when you're my age, that's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of brain power. It's a waste of effort. It's just a waste. It's the older you get, the less time you have. So yeah, that's why I'm keeping this one at arm's length, because it's hard to be friends with her without having feelings for her, right? And I can't stay mad at her for all the times that we broke up, or all the times that she broke up with me, or like all the times that we just had problems or anything. Or not blaming, it's just that's the reality of the situation, is that she wants to be friends, but it's just like, nah, man. I basically have her like this, right? She'll text me from time to time, but at this point, right, I overshared how I felt, and so like now I'm just like keeping at arm's length because it's just easier that way, right? It's just like, because when you have history with someone, you find yourself easily getting back into the same thing, right? Easily getting attached again. So like you kind of have to keep motherfuckers, right? And I'm not going to be petty and just be like I don't want to be your friend anymore, but it's to the point now where it's like I don't even call it friends, man. I just call it acquaintances, because that's pretty much the role that you have established for yourself in my life, right? It's as you get older, you find yourself not wanting to give time or attention or even credence to anything that is not going to work out in the long run, right? So if you can't see yourself, if you make a decision and you can't see yourself still benefiting from that decision 4, 5, 6, 7 years later, that's not a good decision when it comes to relationships, or when it comes to anything of that nature. So like, if I can't see that, why even? There's no point. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so. Anyways, we gotta fucking move on, man. You just gotta do it. Just, bro, it's easier said than done, but forget about it. Believe you me, it's easier said than done. And you can't flip a switch either. Just forget about it. You know what I've done like, it hasn't been often, but the times in my life that I have gotten my heart broken, David, you know what I did? I found a video game and I dedicated my whole fucking existence to this video game. All of my time, all of my existence, every waking moment that I possibly could, that I wasn't doing anything else, I would focus it on video games. One, I really like video games. Two, it's a not only a passion, but an extreme hobby for me. And three, it's my escape for everything, man. Not just heartbreak, it's my escape for every single little thing, right? Even when I get into those times where like I go through like, I don't know, man, I don't want to say I'm bipolar, but my mood changes sometimes, man. Sometimes I'm the most happiest person in the world, and then like 6 months later, I don't even want to be alive, right? It's just, that's how I've always been for a while now. I can't tell you that I was always that way, but it's how I've been for a while. But like, I don't know, man. I won't worry about it. Just, in the nicest of ways, respectfully, get the fuck over it, dog. Otherwise, you're gonna waste time, you're gonna waste tears, you're gonna waste stress, you're gonna waste sleep, and you're gonna drive yourself fucking crazy. Dwelling about it or thinking about it or woulda, coulda, shoulda done this, shoulda done that, maybe if I would have done this, maybe if I would have done that. Take it from someone who's done it, been there, dude. I'm trying desperately to save you massive amounts of time and frustration, man. Just, it seems to me like you're young. It seems to me like she's young, and believe me, you have so much more growing and maturing to do. And believe you me, this is the first time that your heart's gonna get broken, man. Realistically, it's not the first time. It won't be the last, okay? But the more times it happens, the easier it gets to deal with. The less you start to care, the less time you lock yourself in a closet, right? Man, I remember the first time I got my heart broken, bro, I was down and out for months. And now, she's lucky if I'm sad for 2 weeks. Really, because you get used to it. You start to get over these things quickly, you know? It's just like, damn, I tried. I really did feel it for this one. And then, I don't know, man, it's just like, oh, whatever. Shit happens, shit ends, shit starts, nothing lasts forever. It's just like, it just goes, man. And you're not unique either. This happened to me, it's happened to my sisters, it's happened to my mom, it's happened to my dad. We all get fucked at some point, man. You just gotta grow, you gotta learn from it. We all get fucked, man. Just remember, we all get fucked. It's what you do after getting fucked that defines you, right? The decisions you make, how you react, how you respond to getting fucked over. Some people don't respond well. Some people kill their partner. And then other people, they're just like, if that was the only girl in the world, I'd be really mad. But because there's like billions more, I think I'll survive. So, all right. Pick your battles. I don't even like that, Allison. I don't want battles. I don't like fighting. I don't like strife. I don't like problems. I don't like arguing. I don't, bro. And I'm never the one to start arguments either. So it's just like, maybe this is like my detriment. Maybe this is my downfall, but anytime a girl has ever started an argument with me, when I was younger, I used to entertain that shit, scream, yell back, get all animated, fucking flail my hands, call her stupid. But these days, I'm just like, okay, cool, whatever. You start bitching at me, you start yelling, you start like, we start arguing and shit like that, I'm just gonna be like, all right, you're right. Good. I'm sorry. And let me tell you something. With some girls, that is actually worse than screaming at them. Because then, instead of like, oh my God, how dare you call me a cunt? They're saying, oh my God, that's all you have to say? How dare you not say anything else? You obviously must not care. You obviously must not love me if all you have to say is cool. No, I just don't want to argue with you. I don't want to fight. It's exhausting too. I don't like it. It's 1, it's boring. 2, it's exhausting. 3, it gives me a headache. 4, I don't want to do it. 5, I don't have time for it. 6, you win. That's it. Is that what you wanted? Obviously not. No, you just want to complain. You just want to bitch. You just want to fight. I'm not a fighter, man. I don't like fighting in relationships. The second you start fighting with me, I shut down. The second you start yelling, I'm just like someone pulled the fucking plug on my body. Like someone disconnected my controller, and I'm just like, can't talk to you. I can't even think in that scenario. With you, just it's like I get tunnel vision. I can't hear. I start getting ringing. I start feeling like I'm back in Afghanistan, man. Just like, fuck, dude. Talk about activating one's PTSD, man. I can't stand that shit. I can't. Yeah, you get to a point where it doesn't take you as long to move on because of... And you know what, Allison? I've actually got bitched out about that too. I cannot fucking believe that you moved on that quickly. You must have not loved me if you're willing to move on next week or a week and stuff like that. And it's just like, wow, it's crazy you say that, because that just shows the disparity. Really. You'd think that that is so absurd because you've never had to do it, because I don't think you've had your heart broken as many times as I've had my heart broken. That's all that says. The fact that you think that that is absurd to you, the fact that you think it's absurd that I'm willing to move on and forget you that fast, that just says that you haven't been fucked over as many times as I have. And now you're mad about it because you're not used to it, man. If you have been fucked over as many times as me, you'd get it, right? But you don't. So there's that. I can't stand arguing, dude. I cannot fucking stand it. And in my history of arguing with females, I've never won, bro, ever. Even when I did. Does that make sense? Even when I won, I lost. Because that's how it goes, man. That's just... And for a while, that worked with me. But... It worked on me for a while, but then just like I started to realize, like, I realized what they were using to try and control me. And once I no longer prioritized what they were using to try to control me, they fucking hated it. Women's main power, sadly to say, their main power is right here, bro. Down here. And I knew a lot of women that they would hold this away from me if I didn't speak the way they wanted me to, if I didn't behave the way they wanted me to, if I didn't go where they wanted me to go, and if I didn't cater to their every whim, no matter how ridiculous, this was removed from the equation. And that worked only for so long. You want to know why? Because at some point in my life, I can't even tell you when it was, at some point, I stopped letting them use that against me. I stopped caring about it. I did. At some point, I started valuing you more as a person than what you could do with your body, right? And once I started valuing that more, and I stopped letting these bitches, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Once I stopped letting them manipulate me with that, then they had nothing. But at the same time, so did I, because they would just break up with me. That's it. They don't like that either. A majority of them don't like that because they know they can use that as power, but then they try to use it on me, and I'm at the point now where I'm just like, oh, young lady, sweet lady, whoever the fuck you are, you think that's gonna work for me? I am perfectly content going into that back room and cranking the hog out one good time. You really think I need you for that? I want you for other stuff. That is a bonus. You really think I need that? No, I don't need it. It's a want, and I know the difference between want and need. I can live without it. And once I realized that I could live without it and that it didn't have to impact my decision making or the way I behaved, I was much happier, but I was much lonelier, right? In that regard. Not that I'm complaining about being lonely. I don't even consider myself lonely. I consider myself to be free. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even like that behavior, man. Using something like that to get your way with someone, man, manipulating them, like manipulative behavior like that. I don't like that. Just like I think it's fucking terrible. Like when, and it's cringe and downright pathetic when a woman says, "Do you like this, honey?" And the man says, "I like whatever you like, sweetheart." Oh, go, fuck off, bro. Fuck off. You're so weak. You're so weak. Be honest. Be yourself, god damn. But instead, the only way you can keep this girl is by not being yourself. How is that fun? Man, come on. You know, good and well you don't like that shit. It's just like, kind of like for me, man. I would be upset if you were fake laughing at all my jokes. Nah, man, just tell me they're not funny. Or just don't laugh. Don't blow smoke up my ass. That's not... Saying, man. We gotta get started. Otherwise, we're never gonna do anything. This is actually y'all's fault. I blame y'all. So, if someone watches this stream back and says, "Hey, the fuck on with the show next time," like in the comment section, I'm gonna blame each and every single one of you individually, by name. I'll put it in there. I'll take the time. I'm petty. We gotta start. Keep ranting? I mean, fuck, man. I mean, let's get a video, because, I mean, I can rant about whatever we're gonna watch. I should just start a series of, like, just me ranting, and I can just title it Rants you can listen to while you shower or take a shit. Shower rants. Or shit rants. And I think I should go with shower rants instead. Kind of like shower thoughts, but just me ranting about everything and nothing all at once. I'm gonna try it. We'll see how that goes. I have plenty of material to cut up and upload, so. And if y'all want to grace me with like a link or like a timestamp of me ranting about something so that I can upload it, just make sure it's longer than 10 minutes. It's not a rant if it's like a 5-minute video. That's just like a half-assed essay. So. What timestamp is this? I love this. $1:43. I wish you could favorite, like, I wish you could put like a favorite pin at a certain point of a YouTube video. Instead of like having to click on the video and you scroll to your favorite part, and sometimes that takes a second, right? If you could just go to a specific part of a video, right click, and just hit favorite timestamp. And you can have all your favorite timestamps from all your favorite shit in its own little playlist. YouTube, I'm giving you ideas, man, free of charge. Because you can put timestamps in the comment section. It would just be cool for like personal use. Like if I wanted to timestamp an hour and 43 seconds, I could just right click and hit favorite, and then when I pull it up, it's visible right there, and I can just. Maybe it's just me being lazy because I don't want to scrub, but like it'd be cool. But then again, if you put timestamps in the comments section, you can click on the timestamp and it takes you to that in the video. But I'm talking about for a more personalized use of timestamping. All right. Let me check. Wait 1 second. Oh, y'all are actively, aren't it? What dinosaurs would make the best pets? And then Christian will do yours, and then Vince will knock out yours as well. This is just the most interesting one I see so far. What dinosaurs would make the best pets? I would say anything smaller than me, but I don't know, man. Actual velociraptors, they weren't the size that they are in the movies. They were like the size of turkeys. But I still feel like a pack of those would fuck me up. It doesn't matter that they'd be smaller than me. I don't want to have any of those goddamn animals as pets. I don't care if you're really smart, you did the research, and you say it'd be okay. I don't think so, man. Assuming you could train these fucking animals into becoming a pet, anything that's a herbivore, you could probably get away with. Granted. Who's gonna pick up the Bronchiosaurus' shit? Huh? Is it you? It ain't gonna be me. Who's picking that up? Oh no. But that's some big shit. So, carnivore ain't fucking. If it's a herbivore, then you might have a chance at having this as a pet. But if I could have a dinosaur as a pet, and I could train it and everything, and it didn't kill me, and it looked at me like dad. Pterodactyl. That thing can fuck you up on the ground, and if anything comes along that could quite possibly fuck it up, it can fly away. Incredible defense mechanism, and I don't know, probably has the same offensive capabilities as a fucking seagull. I don't know, but like, and it's big enough to where I think I could ride on it. Full grown ass pterodactyl, I think I could ride on that thing. I'm only 145 pounds. That thing had to have weighed a couple thousand. Maybe like 400, 500 pounds. A big ass bird. Anyways, let's find out. And just because it's smaller than you doesn't mean it wouldn't fuck you up. Remember in Jurassic Park where the fat guy that was trying to sabotage Jurassic Park for money? He got killed by like a little baby fucking monster, baby dinosaurs like this big, right? Remember, it's like had the things that flared out and shot like some black goo or whatever. Killed the shit out of that guy, and that thing was like not even a quarter its size. So, oh no. If you can afford to have that dinosaur, you can pay someone to clean up after it. You're right. You could. However, if you could have a dinosaur today, right now, where do you think the government would draw the line? Right? Because there's certain dog breeds that are illegal. There's certain animals you're not allowed to own. I wonder where they would draw the line. But I have seen people own fucking alligators. Yeah, David, so an alligator, that's a true fucking dinosaur. That came from fucking something. And you know what? It looks the part. I can imagine that thing didn't look much different 75 million years ago. Well, it was probably bigger. And to be honest, it was probably the size of a whale. Think about it. Where that thing derived from, where it came from. Or it could be a T-Rex. After that asteroid, which essentially nuked the planet, it turned the T-Rex into an alligator. I doubt it, though. I'm pretty sure we could Google it, like, what family tree that thing comes from.
We've had a unique relationship with the idea of pets, from wolves turned into dogs, to falcons perched on a hunter's arms, to goldfish circling the same plastic castle. Pets serve many.
Yo, goldfish is like, I'm sorry, man, and if you currently have a goldfish, cool. But I think that's the lamest animal to keep as a pet. For real. I think having a fucking turtle is more exciting than having a goldfish. Sorry to those that like goldfish. I can't imagine y'all are that mad or even watching this video because y'all are probably 11 years old. But I'm just saying.
Roles, companions, workers, symbols of status, or simply something to care for. But every pet, no matter how exotic, exists within a narrow set of requirements for the individual.
The pet has to have a personality. If it doesn't have a personality, I don't really consider it, nor would I ever have it as a pet. Fish are fish, bro. What other personality traits do they have aside from the fact that they can breathe underwater? That's it. Now, I don't know, man. If you had a fish that, like, was addicted to fucking heroin and you drop a little rock in there and it eats it and fucking starts doing laps around the bowl and makes a fucking a whirlpool cyclone, I'm keeping that fish. Outside of that, that's one of the most boring pets to fucking have, at least in my opinion. You can't even play with it. You play with it, it dies. It's not a pet.
Size needs to be manageable. It needs to be safe enough not to end up putting you into a game over screen, social enough to tolerate your presence, and ideally has the personality and behavioral traits that suit a home environment. That brings us to a question that could not shake. If dinosaurs were brought back from extinction, could the average population have dinosaurs as pets? And if so, which ones? But excitement rarely survives contact with reality, because most dinosaurs, spectacular as they were, would make absolutely awful pets. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let us get into this. I reckon I could assume what most of you—
Bro, I'm sorry, but like, real life shit. If people started having dinosaurs as pets, I don't give a fuck what you feel for this animal. I'm shooting on sight. I'm shooting on sight. Like, I'm minding my own business, walking my dog, and there you are with a fucking T-Rex, right? And you don't see me, but your T-Rex goes. I'm fucking out. I'm either out or I'm gonna shoot your fucking pet.
Viewers would think of when you think of a pet dinosaur. You would likely think of the big hitters. You know them as well as I do: Tyrannosaurus Rex, Spinosaurus, Triceratops, Stegosaurus, and possibly even the sauropods. However, this de-extinction scenario is not a Disney movie where you can make friends with any creature. There are a whole lot of factors that go into what makes a good pet to begin with, let alone if one is large enough to purposely eat or stomp on you. I mean, required space, diet, trainability, and personality are all important factors. Now, I'm not sure about you, but I know that I am not even close to being—
It would just be impossible, bro. These animals are they're 10 out of 10 times, in my opinion, I feel like they will always obey their instinct before they obey their human, before they obey their owner, right? For a dinosaur, because that's the way they're wired. That's just the way they are. Over the course of hundreds of thousands, millions of years, evolution has happened, and there are probably animals today that derive from the dinosaur era that are passive, but that's because of evolution, right? Back in these times, they're just dinosaurs, period, man. They depict this well in the movies. You can't train these things like you can train a dog. A dog is receptive to training because a dog is what? A dog is a descendant from wolves, right? Long descendant from wolves. Wolves are natural predators. They have that instinct to kill. They have that instinct to hunt. They have that instinct to, they will completely fuck you up, right? And unless you catch one of these wolves as like a little fucking baby and raise it as your own, you're never going to see you're never going to see people being friends with wolves outside of the ones that find them as babies. But with dogs, over the years and through breeding, evolution, and just stuff like that, that natural predator killer instinct was taken out of dogs. That's why we can train them. That's why they're receptive to humans, right? Dinosaurs don't have that. They don't have that quality. They, at least not to my knowledge, man. Maybe some of the more docile ones might, but you're talking about wild fucking animals. Wild creatures. This is no different than having a silverback gorilla as a pet. Man, maybe, just maybe, bro, you find it as a baby, you raise it, and it never kills you. But I'm sorry, dude, once those monkeys, those apes, those gorillas reach a certain age, it doesn't matter. You have to release them. You can't keep them forever. They will fuck you up. They will. Someone brought up Ross. Someone brought up Friends earlier. Remember in Friends where Ross gets that capuchin monkey? And he loves it, man. It's like his kid, right? He's raising it, he's teaching it stuff. But as the monkey aged, it started to go into manhood and it started humping everything. So he asked the doctor, when is this going to stop? And the doctor says, well, this is a monkey, man. That's not going to stop. He's about to be on the verge of adulthood. And if he doesn't meet these needs and urges that he has, he's going to get violent. Well, it doesn't matter how good you train them, no matter how long you've had them. It doesn't matter. It is in their DNA. They will get violent, right? So got to get rid of them. I would assume that would be the same case with literally any dinosaur. Period. Except for the ones that physically can't eat you because they don't eat meat.
Being rich enough to afford half of the requirements for a single lion, let alone
No, Marcel was the name. Yeah, that was the name, Marcel. No, not Harambe.
a T-Rex. Something like Tyrannosaurus Rex would need to consume over 100 kilograms of meat per day, need kilometers of land to roam across, and would still eat you given the opportunity. And that is only T-Rex. We don't even need to touch on the requirements for a single sauropod. Am I saying that there is zero scenarios where some sort of bond could form between a larger dinosaur and a human? Well, no. I mean, we see today that people can grow close bonds with elephants, rhinos, bears, big cats, birds, and even crocodilians. However, I am tackling this from the angle of the average person. So unfortunately, no.
I don't know, man. I feel like most of this that he just mentioned,
people can grow close bonds with elephants.
I feel like elephants are not naturally dangerous per se. They're just big, bro. And the way elephants view humans, they look at us the same way we look at them. Like, oh shit, look how cute that is. You ever seen a baby elephant? That's the cutest shit in the world. That's how elephants look at us. They look at us like we're puppies. But because they're so goddamn big, man, it's not feasible, right? And some of these are just rare occasions. And some of these, a lot of them, is these people encountered these animals as very, very young animals to the point where they'll recognize you, man. Take an animal that's never had human contact, you'll probably kill that goddamn human. But take a animal of the same breed that was raised by a human, right? Chances, man, probably not that much. They'll recognize it. I saw this one video of this dude found this chimpanzee as a baby. He raised it, nursed it, taught it stuff, and then released it. The guy went back to the jungle he released it in 6 years later. 6 years passed. He went back to this jungle. And that fucking chimpanzee recognized him instantaneously. Instantaneously. But this guy could have very well been attacked by another fucking chimpanzee that didn't know who the fuck this was. Like, yo, I'm about to beat your ass. Oh, you know him? Okay. All right. You lucky. You know my homie. That I'll let it fly this time. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
rhinos, bears, big cats, birds, and even crocodilians. However, I am tackling this from the
yes, elephants do look at us like that. Yeah, they do. They look at us in the same manner that we look at puppies. They look at us like as cute toys.
Angle of the average person, so unfortunately, no medium to large dinosaurs allowed. So what is the actual criteria for a prehistoric pet that you could live with and not just dream about? Well, I think the most important thing to cover is having a solid limit on the potential size of our prehistoric pets. I think a good cap-off area would be around 100 kilograms or 220 pounds. That's about the weight of the largest dogs, and that is already pushing it considering normal people aren't just having emus, cassowaries, and ostriches as pets. Anything bigger starts needing reinforced enclosures, professional feeding setups, and the kind of money that most of us don't have unless we're running a prehistoric zoo. If it takes up more space than your couch, well, it's going to be off the list. Next, we have space requirements. Not every small animal is automatically low maintenance. Some species need massive ranges to stay mentally and physically healthy. Think of border collies. Sure, they fit in your house, but if they don't get enough exercise, your couch will become a chew toy and your walls get remodeled. This stimulation goes for almost all pets, including birds and reptiles. Now apply that to fast-moving, high-energy dinosaurs that evolved to sprint across floodplains or zip through dense undergrowth. Suddenly, you're not just dealing with a pet, you're dealing with an understimulated animal. Then
if dinosaurs never went extinct, just imagine. What if dinosaurs never go extinct? I don't think we make it. But again, that's assuming that the dinosaurs would wipe out all humans, right? Let's say dinosaurs never go extinct. Some didn't, you know what I'm talking about. Like the big massive population. I know that some didn't, right? But let's just say dinosaurs never went extinct. And then in come the humans. You think humans survive that? Do you? Because I look at it like this. Dinosaurs existed. What, like, dinosaurs existed for 200, I think 100 million years? 100 to 200 million years, I think. They died off 75 million years ago. So, who's to say that if they don't go extinct, they're still here today? What do y'all think? If dinosaurs never go extinct, bro, are they still here today and we're not? Or are we still here today and we killed all these motherfuckers? We found a way to kill all these motherfuckers. Or humans can just hide from them until they naturally die out, but probably not, because they had plenty of food. They existed for millions of years prior to extinction. They've existed longer. They existed longer than humans have existed, right? So, like, you think we're still here if they don't go extinct? Do we coexist? I do know one thing. If they never go extinct and we're still here today, we beat their ass today. That's just it. But back then, when the only weapons you had was, I don't know, a club, maybe some bows and arrows, maybe a couple of spears, that's not really doing shit against a T-Rex. So, I'd like to say that if the dinosaurs never go extinct, we don't exist, but hey, man, possibility. Does the world look what it does? Does the world look like it looks like right now? What if dinosaurs never go extinct? Humans come into the picture and we don't coexist, but we live. Well, they coexist. They don't kill each other, but they do coexist to a degree. Right? You aren't friends, but you stay away from their territory. Kind of like We coexist with alligators and crocodiles, but we stay out of their fucking waters as to not get fucked up, right?
Then we have their diets. On paper, herbivores seem like the better choice, right? Sure, until you realize that some of them probably need a good chunk of vegetation daily, which in this scenario would be quite pricey, considering they did not just evolve for consuming modern flora. If your cute little pet needs a field's worth of food,
Are you really gonna hold me on a 15 million year difference? You gonna hold me on that, Jace? On the, you know what I'm saying.
burns just to stay fed, you're going to have a problem. Carnivores can also be difficult for many people. Feeding raw meat every day, that's not just expensive, it's risky, especially
What do you mean? The asteroid was a really fast extinction event? No, I don't think so. I think that the impact area and anything close to the impact area got eviscerated instantly, but nothing died that fast. It took a while. When you say really fast, you should like it makes it seem like it happened overnight. No, it didn't. It would be just like nuclear fallout. Yeah, people would die instantaneously around the area of impact, or the explosion area, and everyone else is gonna die, just not that day. Months, man, probably even years from now. There's probably dinosaurs that lived for years upon years after that event, and then eventually died off. And then the ones that survived are the ones we see today.
especially when your pet's instincts say food is food. Still, I don't think that diets are the biggest issue, especially considering the weight limits we have in place. Behavior is another big one. Is it solitary or social, territorial or passive, predator or prey? Some dinosaurs might tolerate being around humans, while others might lash out the second you step into their bubble. And then there's trainability. Can it learn commands, recognize you, not panic when a phone rings or a car goes by? If not, then what are you doing? You're just babysitting a wild animal. So yeah, the criteria is stacking up fast. Here's our rough checklist.
Oh, well, cool, Jace. That difference is negligible to me. Millions of years is millions of years. It's a long ass time, whether it's 10 or 15.
Though. Under 100 kilograms or 220 pounds in weight, modest space needs, non-difficult diet, tolerant or social behavior, moderate to high intelligence, not aggressive to humans, and trainable or at the very least manageable. So that might sound strict, but here's the fun part. Not all dinosaurs are thrown out the window. In fact, there are quite a few that could genuinely make the cut. Small, quirky, and weirdly plausible prehistoric pets. Ones you could
Yeah, like the equivalent of these animals today would be like a koala, a panda bear, an ostrich. I know that motherfucking thing came from a dinosaur, bro. Probably one of these right here. Bro. An ostrich probably came from Parvicursor remotus. Look at this thing. Closest thing. Oh, actually, no. Manicus olecranus. I just really don't understand why they can't give them normal names, man. Like, oh, but it's a scientific name. It's still made the fuck up. You could have just named him Ted. Or like an actual cool name, because like, who's got time to remember all of this if you're not actually getting paid to know all this? No fucking body. We just call this Edward Dinosaur Hands right there, looking like Edward Scissorhands a little bit. Right? We'll call this Carrot Top and Blackface, right? Look at that. That's too easy, right? Call this Free Willy. Kind of resembles. I don't know, man. These names suck.
Make the cut. Small, quirky, and weirdly plausible prehistoric pets. Ones you could imagine actually living alongside
Ben,
you.
what's good,
Ones that
man?
with continuous exposure would not run away from you or just try and eat your cat. Think about it.
We've all owned dinosaurs before, though. Believe it, like, whether you know or not. We've all owned dinosaurs at one point. They're called fucking Pokemon. The closest thing.
We already keep modern birds and reptiles as pets, two groups that are the closest we have to dinosaurs. Parrots can learn words, recognize their owners, and respond to commands. Monitor lizards can even be trained to come when called and recognize their owners. Even chickens have been shown to remember faces, solve basic puzzles, and form social bonds with humans. So
They can also hold a fucking grudge against you for years and not like you. I can confirm this. You can't even call my bullshit on that, bro, because I grew up with chickens and roosters, and there was this one goddamn rooster that had it out for me all the fucking time. And he loved my sister, but he despised me. The amount of times I threw hands with this rooster. And finally, I got tired of throwing hands because I kept missing, so I just grabbed a broom.
if we can apply the same logic to their Mesozoic relatives, it's not a stretch to think that many small manageable dinosaurs could be trainable, sociable,
God, that just looks like a salamander that can walk.
and possibly even affectionate under the right conditions. Obviously, listing every plausible dino pet candidate would take a couple videos on its own, so for now, I'm sticking to my top 4 personal picks. Dinosaurs that strike
I'd like to watch a video where they take existing animals today and they basically do an ancestry.com type deal on the animal. Like, this animal evolved from this dinosaur in the Jurassic period, or this animal in the Triassic period, or this animal in the Thoracic period, or stuff. I think that would be cool, just to see, like, where'd the fucking roly-poly come from? Huh? What about the squirrel? Huh? The honey badger. Honey badger probably came from some wild shit. So, like,
the right balance between manageable size, tolerant behavior, and just enough weirdness to be the ultimate prehistoric companion. And remember, this is all just speculation, and I'm playing devil's advocate quite a bit when it's coming to the behavior. Anyways, let's take a closer look. Let's start with what's most probably the most underrated candidate on the list, but a predicted one to all my ISLE players. This being the small, quirky ceratopsian that could actually
looks like a capybara.
thrive in a backyard setup, this being the Psittacosaurus. Measuring 2 meters or 6.5 feet from head to tail, weighing around 20 kilograms or 44 pounds, this small herbivore would likely have had an adaptable diet. It would have probably lived in small groups and would likely not have been overly aggressive, making it a calm and manageable companion. While it may not have been the most intelligent or interactive,
These are like all the side monsters that you can kill but never actually fully fight in the Monster Hunter games. That's what these are. These are all NPC dinosaurs.
head around, its hardy nature and low maintenance lifestyle make it ideal for beginner dino keepers. A proper enclosure would need tall fencing with dig-proof bases and enrichment like logs, rocks, and foraging ties to keep it stimulated. Keeping more than one could encourage natural herd behaviors and ultimately would
Jeff, let's be real. I think everything is afraid of a honey badger, including me.
improve its well-being. The risk factor here would be rather low, at worst a nip from its beak if provoked, but nothing too dangerous. This
And those animals that are not afraid of the honey badger, those are the ones that get fucked up the worst. The absolute most.
dog-sized ceratopsian might not be the flashiest pet, but it could be one of the most realistic. It's small, hardy, and low maintenance, with a diet you can manage with a specific garden. Its beaked face and bristled tail give it a prehistoric charm. If you have a secure backyard and a love for quirky creatures, Psittacosaurus might just be your prehistoric match. Then we go into the next one, which I am quite hesitant to add, but hey, we can't have the entire list being dinosaurs that couldn't hurt a fly. We have Protoceratops. Protoceratops measured around 1.8 meters or 6 feet in length and weighed in at around 80 kilograms or 176 pounds, making it the heaviest entry on this list. Its diet would be self-explanatory as a herbivore, and its behavior would likely have been quite mellow, unflashy, but a dependable
It looks like a ram.
dinosaur that wouldn't mind a quiet corner of your backyard. Its overall temperament makes it an appealing candidate for a prehistoric pet. While not aggressive, its size and strength should not be underestimated. This is a creature you would not want stepping on your foot. Its bite
Bro, I feel like that about some dogs. Bloodhounds, cane corsos, and mastiffs. I've been taken out by those dogs before. Like, it hurts. It hurts. It's not fun, man. It's like getting hit by a full grown man. And if you catch a paw to the face from one of these goddamn dogs that are huge, that's a rough day.
Bite was adapted for crushing fibrous plants. This could cause real injury if mishandled and likely result in broken bones. So this dinosaur would be best suited for confident and experienced handlers. Think of this as the bulldog of the dinosaur world. It won't do tricks or bounce off the walls, but it won't destroy your garden out of spite or escape through the fence in a panic.
So basically, it's not a cat.
In terms of care, you will need a fenced off yard or paddock with some shaded areas and a soft patch of ground to lie on. Though it doesn't need to climb, it would still require areas to dig in order to create burrows. While it could technically be kept solo, if raised with plenty of attention and care, it would likely thrive better with at least one other member of its species. You'd also need large feeding areas, and undoubtedly this one would be the most expensive on the list. All in all, while Protoceratops is a potential candidate, this would be recommended to those who are more experienced in taking care of larger animals. Now, if herbivores or omnivores aren't your style, then I think Microraptor would make a good choice.
Too, yeah.
Small, sleek, and armed with 4 wings, it's halfway between a house cat and a falcon. Microraptor was a tiny 4-winged dinosaur measuring around
Yo, combination between a house cat and a falcon? Bro, that's gotta be so lethal. And it's a herbivore or a... Dude, imagine if this thing was a carnivore. Holy shit. This thing would eviscerate most things in the sky.
style, then I think Microraptor would make a good choice. Small, sleek, and armed with 4 wings, it's halfway between a house cat and a falcon.
Dude. A cat's reflexes are already insane. Imagine if you put wings on a cat. That's already terrifying. Because to me, cats are already a little bit terrifying. I'm not afraid of cats, it's just I'm afraid of their attitude. They don't give a fuck. And they're limber, and they're fast, and they can climb, and they're and then you give this same cat wings? Nah. That seems scary. Look at the fucking claws on that shit. Oh, no.
Microraptor was a tiny 4-winged dinosaur measuring around 1 meter or 3.3 feet in length and weighing in at just 2 kilograms or 4.4 pounds. As a small carnivore, it likely fed on insects, small mammals, and perhaps even fish. With its sleek...
It's like a flying squirrel, man. Yeah, evolution definitely fucked this thing. That asteroid definitely fucked this thing. I don't know if this thing just straight up turned into the falcon or the eagle, or if it just lost its wings and its talons and just... This is where squirrels come from, but...
form and feathered limbs, Microraptor probably spent a great deal of time in the trees, but I will say that hesitantly because of the great discourse that is always going on with it, though I do see it quite possibly being solitary, preferring to keep to itself rather than interact with others of its own kind. Its main appeal as a pet would be its striking appearance and unique locomotion, but there's still great debate amongst paleontologists.
You imagine that shit coming at you, talons out, that shit. And it's probably bigger than your average bird too.
Just about whether it truly flew or merely glided. One thing is clear, Microraptor would absolutely need vertical space. An aviary style enclosure, or at least an aviary style section of a room with plenty of height, sturdy perches, and a netted ceiling would be essential to prevent escapes and to satisfy its natural instincts. This dinosaur's personality might not be the friendliest, likely moody and possibly territorial, but its small size means the danger it poses is minimal. While it has teeth sharp enough...
Nah, bro, you see those claws? You see those claws? Nah.
To scratch or nib if provoked, the risks are no worse than you might expect from a house cat or feisty lizard. Thick gloves could be utilized during feeding and cleaning. Speaking of feeding, a meat-based diet would be necessary, and a water feature or small fish tank could offer additional enrichment. Microraptor might not want cuddles, but if you're looking for a visually stunning prehistoric theropod to observe and care for, it might be the perfect, albeit slightly temperamental, companion. Now we're on to our last pick. Small, sleek, and built like a prehistoric.
And that thing never had to worry about food. Ever. Ever. It could get food on the ground, it could get food in the sky. Then again, I wonder just how much of its diet came from animals that can fly. And I wonder how much of his diet came from water type animals, because the way it flies, the way it operates, it almost looks like, I don't know, an eagle or a falcon pulling a fish out of the water, right? So, because it is carnivore. I wonder where most of its diet came from, or if it was just all over the place and didn't fucking care. As long as it was meat.
Greyhound, Gasparinosaura offers a unique blend of charm and energy. If you ever wanted a dinosaur that's halfway between a rabbit and a lizard, this might just be your pick. Measuring about 1 meter long or 3.3 feet and weighing in at around 13 kilograms or 29 pounds, Gasparinosaura was a herbivore that likely lived in social groups and had a sharp awareness of its surroundings, traits that today would translate into a pet that's alert, social, and constantly on the move. Its perks are
So, like, the dog that he just mentioned, fucking, what was it, Border Collie?
clear. This dinosaur is light, quick, and almost certainly
A lab?
full of personality. After getting used to you, it would likely not be overly aggressive and would pose minimal danger to humans, more likely to dash away rather than lash out. However, that liveliness could come with some caveats. Gasparinosaura would need plenty of space to run, jump, and explore. A screened-in yard would be essential. If you had it indoors, then you might even need to give it a giant hamster wheel. While as with many of our picks, it could survive solo with the right care, it would likely have improved well-being if it was housed with a small group of them. Its skittishness could be a challenge at first, but with patience, consistent interactions, and raising it from
My old dog Loki was skittish.
young, it might grow into a curious and trusting companion. Overall, Gasparinosaura might be one of the best candidates for a prehistoric pet. It's fast, quirky, and full of life. Not a cuddle bug, but let's be honest, if you're getting a dinosaur, I don't think you're looking for that. Instead, being an endlessly entertaining presence for active owners who enjoy the companionship of unusual creatures. So, could you have a dinosaur as a pet? Surprisingly, it seems so, at least in theory. That opens the door wide for dinosaurs to make the cut as plausible prehistoric pets, not just as curiosities, but as true companions. The dinosaurs we've looked at today aren't apex predators or thunderous titans. They're the scrappy survivors, the kind of animals you could share your backyard with, if not a living room. They offer a glimpse into what life may have been like if the asteroid missed, or if our worlds just overlapped a little bit more. Obviously, this is just the start. There are dozens of species.
I really feel like, had the dinosaurs not gone extinct, there would have been a back and forth struggle between humans and dinosaurs. And humans would know their limits. And they would know their limits to the point where eventually technology would happen, right? They would kill all of the threatening dinosaurs, all of the predators, all of the ones that can cause a threat. Pretty much basically anything that's not an herbivore, humans would kill it, and they would use the other animals either as pets or part of a workforce, right? Like cows and horses and stuff like that. That's my theory. If they never go extinct, while it's a tall order to win against the dinosaurs as a new species like the humans were, I don't know, maybe they take these fuckers off the book. You got to remember, man, humans killed woolly mammoths. Woolly mammoths. These were not small animals by any means. They were actually, oh man, like 2 times the size of what elephants are now. They were massive. They were huge. And humans still managed to kill them, right? I think there's record of humans killing woolly mammoths, or at least taking them down. So if we can do that, then I'm assuming that around this time they would have figured out a way to take out something of equal size that was more dangerous. Because, I mean, maybe not millions of years ago, but humans are smart, man, and perceptive and intuitive, and they have the capacity to build, as well as the capacity to destroy. And when they work together for a common goal, really nothing is impossible for us. So I want to believe that humans survive even if dinosaurs don't go extinct, and that they use the remaining dinosaurs that they didn't kill for safety purposes as either pets or a workforce for the land and blah, 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 all this stuff. I don't know. Which you would have to kill these animals off eventually anyways. Because take, for instance, some of these herbivores. Nature has a weird way of doing things, right? So what if these 2 herbivores give birth? What are the chances that 2 herbivores could give birth to a carnivore? Is it impossible? Is it just like all the way permanently encoded in their DNA that that two carnivores can't make or two herbivores can't make a carnivore, right? So like, if they do coexist, at one point, are you worried that some of these dinosaurs might mate and evolve and pose a new threat to you? That could happen too, and in that case, humans would take action again, right? But I don't know.
Species that could qualify with the right environment and temperament, but that's a list for another time. For now, let's appreciate the line between prehistoric beast and beloved pet might be thinner than we think. And with that, we've reached the end of the video, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Word. Yeah, we watched the honey badger video. I think it was by Casual Geographic. And I've watched several videos on the honey badger. It's not that I'm afraid of it. It's just that I know what it's capable of, and I will never approach one. For any reason. I don't want to pet it. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to hold it. I don't want that thing anywhere near me. I just don't. I cannot trust that animal after everything that I've seen. And I don't care if you know someone who has a fucking cousin that has a honey badger and it was fine for him. I don't trust that animal at all. I don't even want to be in the same 5-mile radius as that animal. So, yeah. All right, let me see if before I go back to the list of stuff. Oh, by the way, did you guys hear that Joe Biden has cancer? That they apparently just found? They said that his cancer metastasized into the bone. Do you know how long you have to have cancer for that to happen? All I'm saying is that there's no way that the Bidens just found this out yesterday, or last week, or even last month. Y'all remember a couple of years ago, it was like fresh into the Joe Biden administration. Do y'all remember like about couple months, I want to say a year, if that, into his presidency, somebody leaked that Joe Biden had cancer. And then immediately, everybody was like, everybody at CNN, everybody at the what was the black lady that spoke for him? That she was a retard. Pierre something. She was like, no, Joe Biden does have cancer. There's just rumors, and that's not true. And now that you do have, I think you had cancer whenever it was originally said that you had cancer, and y'all lied about it. That's just my opinion. From how I view that administration, from how I view Joe Biden, from how I view politics, and from how I view the way they operate, I have a feeling that Joe Biden knew all that time ago, whenever like, oh, that's ridiculous. That's just people trying to take away from what he's doing, and he's doing great things for the nation. He doesn't have cancer. I spoke to his physician yesterday. It metastasized into the bone. I don't know, man. Feel like you knew this whole time. You didn't say anything. And now he is no longer in the White House, and he'll never run again. There's no way he ever will. Might as well tell the people. Fuck it. Dying. I was dying 4 whole years ago, but I really wanted to win, and oh, if it wasn't me, they said they were going to put Kamala there, and she's kind of an idiot, so we lied. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting as all. See if y'all heard about it. Is it true? Probably. Did this news was this news known as of recent? No, and unless I'm proven wrong, which there's no way I could be proven right. Just a theory, just how I see it, but yeah. Yeah. And then he said he was going to find a cure for cancer. Y'all remember that? What kind of jackass makes that promise if he's not trying to figure it out for himself? No one's dumb enough to make a promise to cure cancer. Unless you're trying to save your own life. Right? Because we know what a pipe dream that is. It's no cure for cancer. I know the conspiracies. Oh, they got the cure. They just it's $1 billion industry. They don't want to give it to anybody. Sure. And they kept that a secret from Magic Johnson. Sure. It's a fun theory, but my God, I can't. And if there was a cure for cancer, don't you think they would have given it to the most popular president to ever get elected with 88 million votes? If there was a cure, don't you think they would give it to this guy? No. Doesn't exist. Check the list. But anyways, on to more important shit. Who actually cares that he has cancer? I'm sure his family does, but I don't. Like, I don't have cancer. So, I don't care. He's a politician. But people get cancer all the time. Nobody feels bad for that random guy that lives in Idaho that has cancer. I don't give a fuck that Joe Biden has it. Okay. I'm trying to get hype for this, Christian, but I'm having a hard time. For every kind of geek, American Vampire, Scott Snyder's Gothic Story, or Gothic Glory. Gothic Gory, Americana. Okay. We'll see if this is hit or miss. Yeah, Vince, we're not watching that one. I already know which one I'm watching, and it's 21 minutes. We'll get that one on the next one. Well, you removed it. No, wait. Yeah, no, Vince, you better put that one back that was 21 minutes. I saw it. I'm not doing that. We'll do some Fat Electrician, but not that one. I saw one on there that was a normal time for normal people. And not a whole ass movie. It was 21 minutes. What is it? Whatever it was, put it back. Let's. Hmm. Uh. Hmm.
You know Harbor Freight for affordability.
American Vampire. Scott Snyder's gothic, gory Americana epic. Christian, what's up? You say hi like you haven't been here. I know your ass has been here the whole time. You're just saying hi because I finally got to your request, which I'm not entirely sure if I'll fully be entertained with, but we're gonna give it a go.
In January 2020, DC officially closed Vertigo Comics. That news is a real shame for comic fans everywhere, since Vertigo's been the birthplace of experimental new series including the original Hellblazer, Fables, and my personal favorite, Scott Snyder's American Vampire. Since its beginnings in 2010, the series has ambitiously woven these monstrous creatures into the fabric of the nation's history. Beyond the premise, Snyder and lead artist Rafael Albuquerque use a masterful blend of gothic storytelling and moody visuals to establish a massive ensemble of well-rounded characters across a handful of time periods, ranging from the discovery of the New World to the dawn of the space age. Long story short, this book does a lot with a pretty short run. It's practically dripping with gothic atmosphere and bloody action. So if you're a fan of horror, then stop watching this video and read it right now. Please don't do that though.
Damn, this is like not for me at all. Like at all. Not even a little bit.
I worked really hard.
I don't like horror. I just don't like that genre.
So, sit back, grab some candy.
But we'll see.
Because I'm about to explain.
This might actually be good. It's just I never gravitated to this genre. Oh, and by the way, if this is not an animated form or a movie, Christian, this is the last time I ever even see something American Vampire. So, yeah.
What makes American Vampire a series you can sink your teeth into?
Because I don't read. I know how. I have the capability. And when I was a third grader, my teacher said that I had a 6th grade reading level. I don't know if she was just being nice or not, but I believed her. So I just don't want to at all. So sorry, but I will never read this.
While American Vampire leans a lot on spectacle, getting crazier with every issue, the series' heart lies in its vast cast of characters. While a Game of Thrones scale ensemble might be hard to follow, even harder hopping through time, Snyder manages to distinguish each character with emotional arcs that tie into the larger story of American history. At the cornerstone of this is our protagonist, Pearl Preston, who gives us our definitive hero's journey. Starting the book as a struggling actress in Hollywood, Pearl gets her first glimpse of the supernatural when her producer offers her up to a horde of his bloodthirsty friends. Eesh, that's pretty topical for, wait, 2010? This was written 10 years ago? God, I'm old. Anyway, through an encounter with another vampire, Skinner Sweet, Pearl is given a second chance that she immediately uses to get revenge on her attackers. While Pearl's story could have ended with these first issues, Snyder returns to her life over the course of the book, using time jumps to show Pearl's growing isolation living among humans. Snyder focuses this conflict through Pearl's relationship with Henry Preston, her human husband. While Pearl's powers keep her eternally young, Henry's age becomes more and more noticeable over the book's run, causing him to act out more to prove his worth. Not surprisingly, Pearl's enemies see Henry as her Achilles heel, and his refusal to turn puts a serious strain on their relationship. With Henry's death at the end of Volume 1, Pearl is thrown into an identity crisis, forced to either find a way to keep her sense of self or surrender to her monstrous impulses and live like Skinner. Towing the line between tragedy and hope, Pearl's series-long arc is what grounds American Vampire, building the themes and struggles that run through every story in the book. Of course, a hero is only as good as their villain, and who's a better contrast than the notorious Skinner Sweet, outlaw killer, and other unsavory stuff. As a former soldier and known criminal, Skinner was killing and robbing his way across the country well before he was turned. While Pearl is able to hold back her darker side, Skinner's powers intensify his cruelty and give him a sense of superiority above humans and other vampires. But underneath his anger, Skinner is plagued by loneliness, made worse by the fact that he's outlived entire generations of friends and enemies. Much like Pearl, Skinner spends most of the series wrestling between his monstrous and human sides. This arc seemingly ends during Second Cycle's finale, with Skinner rejecting his instincts to help his friends, and losing his immortality in the process.
Listing your vacation rentals on Booking.com opens the door to more guests, like this bunch. These.
This arc seemingly ends during Second Cycle's finale, with Skinner rejecting his instincts to help his friends, and losing his immortality in the process.
Wow, now we know where fucking Guardians of the Galaxy got their entire fucking plot from at the end of the movie. Remember? Was it Guardians 1 or Guardians 2? Where his dad, Ego, which is like a fucking celestial, is like, join me, you can be godlike, and blah blah blah. And he's like, man, fuck your couch, you killed my mom, and like, you're trying to kill my friends. Now we know where they got that from. Here I was thinking that was a unique storyline. It's not. It's literally this.
This arc seemingly ends during Second Cycle's finale, with Skinner rejecting his instincts to help his friends, and losing his immortality in the process.
Because whenever Star-Lord killed Ego, he lost connection to being a celestial, so he stopped being immortal, which was the only reason he could even hold that, what was it, the Power Stone? At the end of Guardians 1? The purple one. I think it's the Power Stone.
The message behind Skinner's transformation is clear. Whether it's good or evil, monster or human, we are what we choose to be. While the through line for American Vampire rests on Pearl and Skinner, Snyder builds an ensemble around them to flesh out the history of his world. As far back as the pre-colonial period, we witness the origins of vampirism in America through the Native American Memetet. Alongside Old West lawman Jim Book, we're shown the growth of the vampire's power in the West, and the threats posed by someone like Skinner. Not every vampire is a mustache-twirling villain, though. Detective Cash McCogan is given perspective through his vampire father and half-vampire son, abandoning his black and white morality as he learns about the monster's influence in the West. This perspective is explored even further through Calvin Poole, a soldier who's turned after coming across some of Pearl's vampire blood. While most vampires are depicted as unseen monsters who can stalk their prey undetected, Calvin's race and status as an American vampire make him a target in both worlds. As the book shifts perspective, unseen monsters who can stalk their prey undetected, Calvin's race and status as an American vampire make him a target in both worlds. As the book shifts perspective to its vampire characters,
That almost reminds me of the first Underworld movie where he is a werewolf, but gets bit by a vampire. No, yeah, Lycan. He was a werewolf and got bit by a vampire, I think, or something, to where he became a hybrid, became a half-breed. And I can't remember if after that everyone was afraid of him, but he was significantly, he bridged both worlds for the most part. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen that movie.
our relationship to its human characters begins to shift. The secretive society of vampire hunters, known as the Vassals of the Morning Star, are with us from the beginning, acting as a...
It's actually a pretty cool premise and a pretty cool story, and a pretty good idea that's probably executed very, very well in the comic books. This would be great if it was like a movie. But this would have to be more than just one movie, man. This would probably have to be like a trilogy or something. So, but I don't know. I'd watch a movie about this. It seems interesting enough to where I would. I don't want to read about it.
Kind of monster hunting version of Marvel's S.H.I.E.L.D. At first, the Vassals seem like an
Oh, that's pretty cool. So the Vassals, they're vampire hunters, and they're essentially Marvel's version of S.H.I.E.L.D. They just be hunting vampires.
monster hunting version of Marvel's S.H.I.E.L.D. At first, the Vassals seem like an appropriate check against threats like Skinner. They're far from perfect.
Wait, I'm sorry. I think I misheard the.
Society of vampire hunters, known as the Vassals of the Morning Star, are with us from the beginning, acting as a kind of monster hunting version of Marvel's S.H.I.E.L.D. At first, the Vassals seem like an appropriate check against threats like Skinner. They're far from perfect, though, and we see this through every underhanded move and threat the agency makes throughout the book. While any of these characters could carry their own story, Snyder weaves them together into a rich, well-crafted tapestry depicting a detailed Gothic world.
Dude, I would love to see a movie about this, or maybe even like a bomb-ass TV series. But I don't know, man. I can't remember, but I feel like at the moment Hollywood's tapped out on vampire movies. What was the last vampire movie y'all even saw? What was the last vampire movie that even came out that was worth the fuck? I'm not talking about like these low budget fucking movies with like B-list actors. I'm talking about like something akin to Blade or Interview with a Vampire, or there's several. Technically, I Am Legend is a vampire movie, but I don't really consider it that. Because that's what they are, right? Fucking vampires. Either that or zombies. They can only come out at night, bro. That's some vampiric shit.
Speaking of, let's talk about the setting. America,
I haven't seen it yet, so I can't speak. Sinners. Yeah. Okay. I knew that was about vampires, man. I mean, I got those vibes from the trailer, but like I saw a trailer before a trailer, and when I saw the original trailer, I had no idea it was about vampires. I was just like, oh, it looks like something out of racist American times back in like the 40s or something, but no, it's like a vampire movie. I don't dislike vampire movies. It's just like there's not many, at least in my opinion, that like you can only watch so much Dracula, bro. And I've seen Van Helsing. I think there was a sequel to that. I've seen quite a few Draculas. I haven't seen them all because it's Dracula. Whatever. Blade. I'm trying to think. Okay, dude. That movie freaked me the fuck out. 30 Days of Night? That movie did freak me the fuck out. I was young, and while I don't really get scared much these days for scary movies, and I don't really like scary movies all that much. Like, I can take thrillers. Here's the difference. The difference is between thrillers and horror. People get that shit confused, right? There's a difference. Two completely different types of films, man. Fucking Minority Report is a thriller. Like, but some people get those two, thriller and horror, they get those mixed up. Not a fan of horror. I mean, yeah. 30 Days of Night freaked me the fuck out, man. I was just like, have you ever seen As Above, So Below? I don't think it's about vampires, but it's about demons and shit, and man, I was like, oh, Dusk Till Dawn, classic. Yeah, sorry, I didn't. Because of my age, that wasn't the first thing that I thought of. Because within the past 5 years, I saw that movie for the first time. I had never seen it. I never saw it when it released. Lost Boys, I saw that years ago. Forgot about that. Yeah, that's a good one. But Lost Boys wasn't scary. Like, at all, actually. When I think of vampire movies, I think of like a bit. I think of like a little bit of scary, slight horror, right? Because it is vampires. They're supposed to be scary.
Even in the real world is a storied place, chock full of memorable myths, places, and images. These aesthetics have grown so well known throughout our collective culture that we've given them a name. For many, these images represent familiarity, even comfort to us. And, true to his strengths as a horror writer, Snyder turns every one of these images on their head, all while giving a Metacritic.
Bro, the artwork of this reminds me, it gives me vibes of if Red Dead Redemption released a vampire DLC. That's the vibes that the artwork gives me, and like the color palette and like the visuals for the comic and all that stuff. If Red Dead Redemption had a vampire DLC.
Criticism on America's historical revisionism. Subverting the happier myth.
I've never seen Let Me In. But it makes sense that that's a vampire movie because they can't enter your house without permission. Which is, given how powerful they are, I can't believe that that's actually a rule. Really. Which, some movies do that, and other movies completely throw that shit out the window. So I don't know what is solid, what is like, because I've seen vampire movies where they don't do that whole thing, like where the vampire has to have permission, but then there's other movies where the vampire does have to have permission. I'm gonna go with they always need to have permission. They need to be invited in, but I don't know. The vampire was the girl who played Hit Girl in the movie Kick-Ass. Oh. Yeah, I never seen that one.
Of settlers cooperating with natives, Snyder
Red Dead Redemption Undead. You know, bro, I feel like that would sell. Like, vampires in the Wild Wild West? Shit. I'm sold. Really.
Depicts European colonists as the first vampires in America, connecting the vampire's bloodlust to real-world violence against native.
Another cool battle movie that we could do. I know a couple days ago I mentioned Planet of the Apes versus Predators. How about vampires versus predators? Like all of the vampires versus all of the predators. There's not just one predator. I'd watch that. Or a battle royale. Alien versus Predator versus Planet of the Apes versus vampires. Go. Like the Hunger Games of fucking... I'd watch that.
Native Americans. This is explored further through Skinner's origin story, using his violence to show the human cost of the Manifest Destiny myth. Further down the timeline, Snyder subverts another piece of Americana, re-envisioning the sunny paradise of Los Angeles as a darkened hive, ruled over by the vampiric rich.
No matter what kind of work your team does,
Speaking of
Asana can help manage it. From project intake.
Dog. Imagine if the Morbius movie, they would have had him like slaying vampires. Instead of the bullshit that movie was. I would have watched that. Jared Leto gets his powers, becomes Morbius, realizes that there's darker things at play that is gonna threaten not only his life, but the world, right? And it's these demonic vampires that are invading, and they get through the same way he got his powers, right? Those bats and stuff like that. And yeah, he be killing people because he needs blood, but he's also fighting these demonic vampires, so he's kind of like an anti-hero, kind of like Venom. Honestly, they should have done the whole Morbius movie the same way they did Venom. Scene by scene, dialogue by dialogue, and that movie would have been better. But what that movie was garbage. Holy shit. We need a redo of Morbius, dog. And fucking cast Jason Momoa to play Morbius. That would make sense. Morbius is not a small guy like Jared. Morbius is big, bruh. He's big. He's bigger than me. He ain't no little skinny fucking scientist, man. Anyways. Oh, shit.
Through Raphael Albuquerque's pencils and Dave McCaig's colors, using deep shadows and sketchy, angular line work to build a sense of unease in the reader. This isn't the America of Johnny Appleseed or Paul Bunyan. It's a sinister playground for ancient creatures to feed on an unsuspecting populace. Through this gothic setting and characters, Snyder and company impart their philosophy. Evil lurks everywhere, even places we think are familiar or comforting. Snyder uses this dynamic to explore the real-world atrocities present in America's history, elevating the violence of colonization and the Indian Wars to a literally monstrous level. By depicting European settlers as the origin of vampirism in America, Snyder is able to comment on the evil inherent in America's beginnings, as well as
Oh, so there's parts of the story that are very well done that basically depict what the original Americans did to the Native Americans, essentially.
foreshadow the vampires' assimilation into American culture. As the vampires gain a foothold in the New World, they urbanize and develop their colonies into cities to find bigger sources of food. They also push west, making another connection to America's violent past.
I gotta say it. I gotta say it. These vampires are modern day Jews. Integrated into government, Hollywood, the military, the people. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. My Jewish friends. It's a joke.
Skinner only makes matters worse, channeling his violence towards the native tribes. This connection between vampirism and racial violence gets further explored through Calvin Poole's story later in the book. As a black man traveling through segregationist America, Calvin gets a moment of peace when he comes across a band of fellow veterans who seem sympathetic. However, their monstrous prejudice surfaces when they discover Calvin's vampirism, branding him a lesser breed to be snuffed out.
Wait, hold on.
America, Calvin gets a moment of peace when he comes across a band of fellow veterans who seem sympathetic. However, their monstrous prejudice surfaces when they discover Calvin's vampirism, branding him a lesser breed to be snuffed out.
It wasn't even because he was black. Because, like, it makes you think that, right? Like,
Segregationist America, Calvin's story later in the book. As a black man traveling through segregationist America,
as a black man traveling through segregated America, and he gets discriminated against, not because he's black. Fuck, vampire.
Calvin gets a moment of peace when he comes across a band of fellow veterans who seem sympathetic.
Like, oh, hell nah. What do you mean? It's because I'm black? No, you're a vampire. Okay.
However, their monstrous prejudice surfaces when they discover Calvin's vampirism, branding him a lesser breed to be snuffed out. That doesn't go well for them. We also get more subtle allegories throughout the book. Through Pearl's attack at the beginning, Snyder draws a comparison to real predators in the entertainment industry, a full 7 years before the breaking of the Harvey Weinstein scandal. While American Vampire spends most of its run...
I would give you a specific name, but I think they're all fucking predators, really, to be honest. And the ones that aren't guilty of being predators, they're friends with the predators. So fuck them all, actually.
Real predators in the entertainment industry, a full 7 years before the breaking of the Harvey Weinstein scandal. While American Vampire spends most of its run commenting on the nation's violent history, its sequel book sets to confront that violence, and the book's larger themes of good versus evil. This shift comes through a new antagonist, the Grey Traitor. Introduced as an existential threat to both humans and vampires.
If this was a video game, this would be the guy that comes like once every week with like really, really special in-game items that you can only get from him. And if you miss it, you don't get it.
The Traitor is described by Snyder as a force that's been acting beneath the surface of the series, literally and figuratively, for a long time. As a figure with the power to influence others, the Traitor indoctrinates them by preying on fears and desires, having them reject their humanity to take on more monstrous forms. The traitor tempts a number of characters throughout the book, but his interactions
This guy is like the equivalent of the devil. Really. Just wielding temptation and punishment with the same hand.
with Pearl and Skinner are especially notable. While Skinner bends to the traitor's will, he eventually manages to regain control and reclaim his humanity, all at the cost of his powers. Pearl also manages to fight off the traitor's control, using her connection to Henry and her friends to ground her. This last battle between the protagonists and the traitor crystallizes American Vampire's message. Evil can lurk in any place or anyone, but we alone make the choice to fight it or to give in. The entire run built to this final struggle, which made the series' sudden hiatus all the more crushing as it crept on into 5 long years. Vertigo's closing only worsened the series' chances for a revival, but according to an interview given by Snyder, American Vampire will climb back out of its grave in 2020, relaunching under DC's Black Label imprint.
I don't know what that is, but I completely forgot that this was a DC property. So, man, actually, maybe don't make a movie. Never mind. Because unless someone gets permission from... What was it again?
Grave in 2020, relaunching
unless they get permission from DC to use the title, to use the character, to get the license to the rights of the character to make a movie, which I doubt DC is going to give to a third party. This is going to remain a DC property, and I hope there's not a movie, because I've seen DC movies in the past 5 years. Have you? Yeah.
American Vampire will climb back out of its grave in 2020, relaunching under DC's Black Label imprint. It's hard not to see this relaunch as a good thing. Scott Snyder's had a good 5 years to hone his craft, and if Undiscovered Country is any indication, he's more than ready to return to the horror genre with gusto. Albuquerque's also back as lead illustrator, and is sure to bring the mind-rending visuals to match Snyder's suitably gothic writing. So, if you're a fan of Scott Snyder's work, or gothic horror in general, American Vampire's the perfect story to sink your teeth into.
And now y'all know. Fantastic. Again, unique, interesting, probably a cool world to dive into. It's just, I'm not a reader, man. I'm just not. It's not my, it's just boring to me, man. It always has been. I can't read. It hurts. It really does hurt. And I've never been one of those people that reads for pleasure either. It's But I would watch a TV series on this, and I would watch a movie about it. Oh, however, it's DC, so I have less faith in DC than I do in Marvel. Actually, that's not true. I have less faith in Marvel, but probably about the same. David, thank you so much for the one, man. I appreciate it. A 100 men versus 1 gorilla. Has that happened yet? Or is that just the internet having a stupid ass irrelevant conversation? Is this actually in the works? Because the amount of times that I've heard about it, it makes me believe that the 100 men have signed up and that we're just waiting to find a gorilla. Is this going to happen, or is this just the internet having a stupid-ass hypothetical conversation? I don't even understand. Why have the conversation if you're not going to fucking do it? Why even bring it up? Why even pose the if you're not going to make it happen? I'm sick of talking about it. I want to see you motherfuckers do it, actually. Then again, that gorilla did nothing to no one, and it's like I told my homie the other day when we were talking about this. I don't really want to see an innocent animal die at the hands of humans for entertainment. And if we as a society are going to allow 100 men to beat up on a fucking gorilla, if they actually win, then we might as well let death row inmates fight for survival in a real life battle royale, Hunger Games style game that we make and we televise for millions to watch. If we're going to devolve to let this happen, we might as well just let the other happen, right? Right? What's worse? Letting humans kill each other? Or letting humans gang up on an animal? Or letting humans try to attack an animal and all these humans die? It's all stupid at the end of the day, so let's just fucking double down on it. Let's have a real life battle royale with actual death row inmates. If you win, you get your freedom. Within reason. Some of you are too dangerous to let loose even if you do win. But you know what I'm saying? If we're going to let this happen, we might as well let the other one happen. I would pay a monthly fee to see a real life battle royale. Y'all ever seen the movie The Gamer? With Gerard Butler? Pretty good movie. And it's exactly just that. Prison inmates that get an implant put into their brain, and another human being from around the world or the country controls you. And you go out there, you fight for survival. Guns, health packs, the whole nine, right? A real life person is playing a real life person. Which I thought was a cool ass concept, and I really liked that movie. If we're going to do 100 men versus one gorilla, we might as well do that with people. Because why not? Empty out the prison systems, less tax money to feed these fuckers, and we get some entertainment out of it. But I'm sick of this 100 men versus one gorilla bullshit ass conversation if y'all actually aren't going to fucking do it. If not, man, shut the fuck up. It's so stupid. It's so stupid that if we're not gonna do it, shut your cocksucker about it. If you ain't gonna do it, stop talking about it. And if you ain't willing to be first, don't even bring it up. It was such a waste of time. Anyways. Okay, we did that one. All right. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. I gotta go take a bathroom break real fast, and then I'll return, but... So, I believe that, Alright, so here's the thing, Vince. I think I've seen this video. But I haven't seen it by Fat Electrician. I think the Limping Lady... I saw a video either by YarnHub or Simple History years ago, I think. And I already told you that I Googled this lady one time to win an argument in a comment section against someone who said that Battlefield 5 was accurate. And I had to politely tell them to suck my ass. They were wrong. Anyways. I just feel like I had to preface this video with that. But let me guess. There's information in here that wasn't in the other videos. That's usually the case. That's usually the excuse.
Chess.
It's usually the excuse y'all give me whenever we have to watch something on the same topic twice. Either new information or like one brand new fact. But since it's been a while and I don't really remember, we're going to go ahead and we're going to run it. Fucking Christ. We're going to actually... Okay. Shit. The reason you guys see so much boys content on my feed is because the past couple days I've been rewatching The Boys, but I'm only watching the scenes that have Homelander because he's my favorite character. All right, no, wrong. No, yeah, right. No, god damn it. Okay. These are the very fucking top. Jesus, it takes forever. That's not even what I was trying to do. I was in the wrong thing. Sorry, dudes. If y'all need to go shit, shower, shave, pick up the kids, do whatever it is you need to do. Be back in a second. I just gotta go use the bathroom. Matter of fact, I'm gonna run outside and smoke too. That was very loud. Yeah. I'll be right back. Don't you go dying on me. Brad, are you still here? What happened to Brad? Brad, are you still here? Probably not. Sorry, I got food too. All right, Katai, welcome back. I don't know what's after this, but we may do a try not to laugh. Although there is one video that I put in my watch later, and I can't even remember what it's called. I think it's like, it's wild. I read the title and I was like, I feel like I'm gonna have to watch that because there's no fucking way. Anyways, I'll show you after this is over. We'll see if we can watch it. Here we go. The Limping Lady, Deadliest Spy, World War II. Jenny Hall.
But if I did, this is who I would want her to look up to.
By the way, I'm eating rice and beans and fish. In case you were curious.
Today we're talking about Virginia Hall, aka the Limping Lady, probably the most effective American spy of World War II, and she managed to do that with one leg. But first, a word from our sponsors. This video is brought to you by...
Just burn the fuck out of my tongue. Christ. Here we go.
1906 in Baltimore. She grew up in a really wealthy family and was a complete tomboy the entire time, and her father absolutely loved it. He taught her how to hunt, and he completely endorsed her being not very ladylike all of the time. In addition to being a tomboy, she was also highly intelligent, graduating from high school with ease and getting accepted into the top female colleges in the country. Her mother, on the other hand, had different plans because immediately after high school, she expected Virginia to get married to a young man from another wealthy family in the area so they could combine their family businesses. So she gets engaged to this guy at 18 years old. Fast forward 1 year, she's 19 years old and she keeps catching her fiance cheating on her, so she calls off the engagement and...
That's what happens when marriages are arranged. You're not really getting set up with the greatest of individuals.
Runs off to college despite her mother's wishes. She immediately attends the top 2 female colleges in the country, Radcliffe and Barnard, which are the equivalent of Harvard and Columbia. She studies economics and foreign languages, deciding that she wants to become an American diplomat. She wants to live in an embassy and represent the United States of America. However, this is the 1920s and the odds of a female landing that job are slim to none, but she wants to maximize her chances, so she learns as many foreign languages as possible. She becomes fluent in German, Italian, and French and finishes college abroad, studying in Germany, France, and Austria. While finishing college in Europe in the late 1920s, she would bear witness to the birth of fascism and the rise of the Nazi Party and have a better understanding of how dangerous that ideology was than 99% of Americans. She would return home in 1929. A few months after that, the stock market would crash, the Great Depression would start, and her father, a wealthy business owner, would lose almost everything, and the increased stress would lead to him having a heart attack and dying. This made Virginia even more determined to accomplish her goal of becoming an American diplomat, so she got a job working for the U.S. Embassy in Poland as a secretary. She worked there for several years, and every year she would apply for a promotion to become a U.S. diplomat, and every year something went wrong. The first year, they lost her application. The second year, her application made it through because she delivered it herself, and she was a shoo-in. She could speak 4 languages, she was a college graduate, she was highly intelligent, well-spoken.
I think it's just because she was a woman.
So she passed the application portion of the hiring process and had to have an in-person interview, and conveniently, they accidentally told her the wrong place and the wrong time to be, so she got disqualified again. Realizing that that embassy had it out for her and was not about to let a woman become a diplomat, she transferred to a different embassy in Turkey. So now it's 1933, she's living in Turkey, she's working as a receptionist at the embassy still, and
in 2025? Shit. You sue the whole goddamn company. Hell, you may even become CEO. They treat you like that in 2025. But this girl was like, nah, fuck it. Just go get a job somewhere else. That's a tough gal. These days, a broad will just fucking sue your ass into oblivion. You'll have to pay her ass restitutions. Or something. It's wild. They don't make them like this anymore.
She's just waiting for that next opportunity to apply to become a
Katai.
diplomat. One of her hobbies at this point in time is to go out hunting with the shotgun that her father had bought for her when she was a kid. It's an irregular hobby for a woman, but Virginia's an irregular type of woman. So she goes out hunting with her friends one day, and they're hunting for snipes, which if you don't know is this little tiny bird. Apparently they're really hard to hit, and this is where the term sniper comes from. Regardless, at one point she has to hop over a fence. She forgot to turn the safety on her shotgun and accidentally blew her own foot off. Luckily her friends were there and they managed to pick her up, get her to the hospital.
All right, hear that one more time, man. I was too balls deep in this rice and beans.
Regardless, at one point she has to hop over a fence. She forgot to turn the safety on her shotgun and accidentally blew her own foot off. Luckily her friends were there and they managed to pick.
Jesus, that's... Come on, girl. It's not like you're running from the enemy. You had all the time in the world to be like, here, hold my gun real quick, and then jump over. But nah, fucking Mrs. High Speed over here wanted to be all fucking Rambo-like and butch. I don't hate it, but, I mean, damn, girl. That's why they call you the Limping Lady. Damn. I thought that name would have come from something a lot cooler than than just shooting your foot. But hey, you got your own video by Fat Electrician, so. And I've heard about you before. You did great things. This is just, damn, girl.
Pick her up, get her to the hospital in time to save her life. While she's in the hospital recovering, she would end up getting gangrene, which is a very, very serious type of infection, especially back then in the 1930s, because
You could lose a limb to gangrene.
antibiotics weren't going to be widely used or
Back then.
available for another decade. And I mean, the doctors back then are basically just grunts with scalpels, so they come over to Virginia, they're like, hey, here's the deal, you're going to die, there's one
Unless we
chance
cut
that we
it
can
off.
save you. Basically, my medical opinion is your leg is pissed off and it's trying to kill you. My strategy is I'm going to kill it first, I'm going to cut it off and throw it away. So that's what they do. She gets amputated from the knee down. Later in her life, she would admit that while she was
Would y'all give up a limb if it was life-saving? I saw this one clip of this guy. I don't even know what movie it is. Looks like an older movie. I saw this one clip of this guy. He gets shot and he's like, just leave me the grenade. Save yourself. This is my spot. Right? And the guy's like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? He's like, oh, come on. I'm too vain to live as a cripple. So this motherfucker got a grenade and held it until the bad guys came and he killed everybody. But would y'all chop a limb to save your ass? Yes, probably. Yes. I'd get a kick-ass Terminator. Dude, yeah, man. If I lost a limb, I'm sad, right? Like, oh no, man. All those tattoos. But I could get a prosthetic. And think what you will, but I think prosthetics look cool as fuck, which is like, I don't think people that have prosthetics really care about that opinion. I think it looks cool as fuck, man. Like, you lost a limb, you're still alive, you lived to tell the story, you survived that whole ordeal. Hell, you could have fucking died and all you lost was an arm and you got this cool ass little prosthetic limb. This is a dope ass conversation starter, and fuck yeah, I would chop off a limb to save my life. Now, if it was like, hey, you got gangrene on the tip of your dick, we gotta cut it off to save you. You know what, doctor? Just go ahead and do me right now, cause what's the point? I know that some of you ladies, y'all can live without titties, especially the ones that get breast cancer, but I refuse to live without my dong. Ain't no way. Leg or arm loss, don't care, doesn't matter, as long as it's not my pecker.
was recovering in the hospital, her father had come to her in a dream and told her that she had to get through this because she had important work to do. So that's what she does. She makes a full recovery, gets a wooden prosthetic, learns how to walk again, and goes right back to trying to be an American diplomat. However, you gotta remember, she's a complete tomboy, and what's the first thing a dude does when he gets a new car, a new set of wheels, a new gun? He always gives it a name, right? Right. Virginia named her wooden leg Cuthbert. So she goes back.
Dove, Man Plus Care, whole body DO protection.
Cuthbert? Yo, I'm sorry, that's an ugly ass name. Yeah.
You everywhere. Everywhere.
Oh, come on. That was...
back to work and continues trying to become a diplomat. However, now they have a legitimate reason to not let her become one. They don't need to lose her application. They don't need to give her the wrong dates and the wrong...
Don't tell me it's because of her leg. My goddamn, man. How much physical activity is required from a diplomat?
times anymore, because apparently there was a pre-established rule that amputees were not allowed to become diplomats. Why? I have no idea, but it turns out that Virginia has now both literally and figuratively shot herself in the foot. Virginia, being the badass that she is, though, isn't about to take no for an...
You're a diplomat, though. What do you mean? I can understand if you're infantry, Navy SEAL, Delta Force, Special Forces. Son, you lost a leg. We can't let you go out there. Ah, well, fuck. I tried my damnedest. But diplomats are not special forces, and I don't want to waste any more time on this. That's stupid.
An answer, so she begins lobbying to have the rules changed altogether. She doesn't have much success. Fast forward 1940, Germany invades France, and Virginia is like, fuck it, I'm gonna go be an ambulance driver and help out the French because I hate Nazis. And that's exactly what she does. Virginia, a 35-year-old woman that was physically unfit to be an American diplomat where she would have to sit in an office and talk to people, is now on her way to France to be an ambulance driver in an active war zone. So she's an ambulance driver all
because fuck the Germans. I really do like this woman.
Throughout the Battle of Paris, and she is one of, if not the first Americans.
The Nazi Germans, not Germans of today. Like, you guys are cool, man. Like y'all. But, you know what I mean?
To actually stand up and fight against the Nazis. After France falls, she has to flee, so she hops on a train and makes her way over to Spain. While she's at the train station, she meets a British intel officer, and she tells him her story. This guy is so impressed that he's like, hey, take this phone number, call my friend. He can probably help find you a job over in England if that's where you want to go. So she calls the number looking for a job, and that number puts her in contact with a man by the name of Nicholas Boddington, one of the head guys of the newly formed British SOE. SOE standing for Special Operations Executive, which is just the new spin-off of Great Britain's Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, aka their equivalent of the CIA. So she talks to them, and they pretty much immediately want her to be a spy.
Man, that's such a good movie. I might go back and watch that the next time I'm feeling bored with nothing to do. Love that movie.
She speaks German, she speaks French, she's lived in France, she understands the culture, and most importantly of all, she's an American. And this is important because that means she can use her actual American identity and all her real documentation to give to the Germans to get into France, posing as a journalist. Virginia immediately agrees and goes into training for the next 6 months, learning everything there is to know about espionage, or at least as much as she can in that amount of time. Fast forward 6 months later, mid-1941, Virginia Hall, the spy, gets dropped off in Vichy, France. Which, if you don't know, at this point in time, France is split in two. There's occupied France, and then there's unoccupied France, also referred to as Vichy France. Now, Vichy France is technically, supposedly free, but pretty much everybody knows that it's a puppet state for the Nazis at this point. And Hall's job is to go in there, posing as a journalist for the New York Post, build a spy network, and do anything she can to fuck with the Nazis. Okay, and just so we're on the same page, this isn't like the movies where she has like instructions to go meet with some guy that's her...
No, it's not like the movies, but you know what it does remind me of? It reminds me of The Interview. Dave Skylark going to North Korea to interview Kim Jong-un with plans to kill him. Oh, man. I love that movie. Got fucking stank dick. Jesus. Dave Franco's a fucking fool for that one. So great. Alright. I had to open that vent. I'm fucking sweating. Here we go.
Her connection, and she like integrates with this already existing spy network. No, she was the first spy to go in. She had to go in and build the network from scratch. They literally took Hall, a 35-year-old woman with a wooden leg, gave her some money and some cyanide pills in case she got caught, sent her into enemy-held territory, and was like,
Hard Mountain Dew is ridiculously refreshing with 5% alcohol, 0 sugar, and 100 calories.
fucking figure.
Bro, that's when you know you're truly a spy. When they hand you that cyanide pill. Like, I'd be chilling up until then, and then they give me that cyanide tablet, and I'm just like, wow, I'm just now realizing the gravity of my situation. Like, fuck.
Figure it out. So Hall shows up in Lyon, France, and she doesn't even have anywhere to stay. All the hotel rooms are full, all the houses are rented. So many people have been displaced from the war, there's nowhere for her to stay. So when she first gets to France, she ends up living with a bunch of nuns at first, and she like had a curfew, the whole 9 yards. Then after a couple weeks, she finally gets a hotel room, and that's where she sets up her headquarters and makes her first contact. She goes straight to the US Embassy and tries to get their help. And the head of the US Embassy is like, absolutely not, America's neutral, we want nothing to do with it. But the second in command of the American Embassy pulls her aside and he's like, yes, I'm willing to help. And this is really important because this is the only way she's going to be able to communicate with London. You see, because it's an embassy, they have a diplomatic bag, so it's going to be mail that's not being screened by the Nazis before it goes out. So if this guy's willing to slip her messages to London into the diplomatic bag, it's going to be the only way that she's going to be able to get communication outside of France. So
Damn, bro. You would think that they would have established all this shit before they sent this girl here. Ways of communicating, easy ways of communicating, and how to communicate if your current way of communicating gets compromised or they find out. A plan B, if you will. They didn't do any of that shit. But apparently this is really important. Yeah. Good to know that they treated her just like they treat us.
So she gets it done. She establishes a connection. She now has a way to communicate with the outside world. On to the next order of business. Go see the gynecologist. Not
I can't even imagine why.
for her, for the Nazis. You see, she has a two-pronged attack method that she's going to use to wreak havoc on the German ranks. Step A.
I'm sorry, bro. I took that like actually seriously. Like, why? Birth control? I don't think she's gonna be sleeping around, but okay.
A, recruit a gynecologist. Step B, recruit a brothel owner. All right, so here's the plan. She gets this gynecologist to start working with her by the name of Jean Rosette, and then she gets this brothel owner by the name of Germaine Garand.
A gynecologist and a brothel owner walk into a bar to sit down with the limping lady. Y'all thought that was gonna be a joke. No, that's what happened. That's real life.
Start working with her. And the plan she works out is the brothel owner is going to send all of his employees to this particular gynecologist, and he's going to sort out the ones that do not have STDs and the ones that do have STDs, and he's not going to treat them, but he's going to give them a clean bill of health, and then the brothel owner is only going to let those ones sleep with the Nazis. So all
That is so fucking dirty, dude. Honestly, I'd rather you torture me, interrogate me, and then decapitate me. That's so dirty. Dude, like, nah. You're in a firefight having to shoot with one hand because you can't stop scratching because the crabs. Bruh. That's some very petty psychological ass warfare right there. That's
already Hall is a step.
Biological warfare, actually. Yeah, just hit me with the gas. Fuck that. That's
establishing herself as a diabolical mastermind.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she's conducting biological warfare, weapons of mass destruction, if you will. All the other spies are out here worried about intercepting mail and sending secret messages, and she's over here destroying the German ranks from the inside out and making them enjoy it while she does it. And the scary part is she's just getting warmed up. You see, now she starts sending messages back to London through that diplomatic bag, asking for supply drops in the countryside, and she gets them. They're dropping off guns.
God, I'm glad they never did that. I'm glad the enemy I fought against never did that. Could you imagine? Could you imagine, man? One of their females lures one of our dumbasses in by showing a little skin and alluding to certain activities happening. You go in there, you whip your dick out, and she whips out a bomb. Everybody dead. That would never happen, though. Well, I don't know, maybe, if they were desperate enough, but nah. They'd rather die or straight up kill their females before they ever let their females touch us. But that would be some diabolical shit if they tried, and ooh, I wouldn't even be able to tell you. I wouldn't even be able to tell you confidently if it would work or if it wouldn't work, because
explosives, and she's turning around giving that to these guerrilla fighters that are just doing anything they can to fight the Germans, and she's also getting money to bribe officials and heroin. Yeah, the second prong of her prostitute attack on the German ranks is that after the employees have already given the Germans an STD, they are then also going to attempt to get them addicted to heroin. I mean, the Germans get all this credit for developing their brilliant blitzkrieg tactic during World War II, which
But I thought that the Germans were the ones that... Weren't they the ones that invented this? What drug did they make that's just like killer today and still so prevalent? Was it cocaine or was it meth? Bro, they developed something for the very first time that no other country had ever seen. And it was something that we have today. I just can't remember. I thought they got the credit for something there, but...
the Germans an STD, they are then also going to attempt to get them addicted to heroin. I mean, the Germans get all this credit for developing their brilliant blitzkrieg tactic during World War II, which translates to lightning war. I'm going to go ahead with whatever authority I have, and I'm going to dub this the brothel krieg tactic in honor of Virginia Hall, because this is brilliant. So this keeps going for months and months, and she develops more and more connections and builds this enormous spy network that is officially given the code name Heckler.
Bro, that is literally the equivalent of, like, let's say you play sports. Bro, you know what? Actually, Michael Jordan did what this lady's doing. Giving them drugs, giving them women. You lose focus, bro. You lose focus. And that's what that dude used to do. You're on the NBA team, he'd be so nice to you. He'd take you out to dinner. Fucking buddy. And then once you get on the court, he just straight up fucking demolished you. And you're just like, wait a minute. I thought we were friends, Mike. No, fuck you. Not right now. We were at dinner last night. Not at this moment. Fuck you. So. Oh no.
And these new spies know how to send wireless transmissions, so now there's other ways of getting messages outside of France, but the problem is these wireless transmissions can get tracked by the Nazis, and a lot of these new spies are getting caught that way. So then fast forward October 1941, all the other spies, there's like 12 other ones in the area right now, and they decide they're gonna have a big meeting. Basically, they're coming up with an excuse to get together and have a party and actually talk about all the cool stuff they've been doing, which is a huge mistake for a spy. So Virginia avoids it.
That.
Sure enough, all 12 spies get busted.
Not that, yeah, I was gonna pause, but I was, yeah, you're not really spies if like all 12 of you were gathering under the same fucking roof. You're a gaggle. You're no longer spies.
Busted and captured, and this was known as the Marseille Mousetrap, where the German Gestapo captured 12 spies all at once. They captured all the wireless operators, and again, Virginia is basically the only spy on the ground, and she is the only spy still capable of getting a message out to London. So she sends a message out to London basically saying that everybody else has been captured, nobody else is going to be able to communicate except for her. In addition to that, the German Gestapo also now know what she looks like and have drawings of her, and they know that she walks with a limp, and they're starting to call her the Limping Lady. So she is effectively #1 on the Gestapo's most wanted list and leading the Gestapo in Lyon.
Which effectively removes her title of being a spy, correct? If everyone knows about you, you're no longer a spy, correct? Like blowing your cover means you're no longer undercover because people know. Everybody knows. So, that's semantics, but
at this point in time is Klaus Barbie, one of the most brutal Nazis of World War II. And he is quoted as saying, "I would do anything to find that limping Canadian bitch," end quote. He believed that she had to be Canadian because he didn't think any American could speak French so fluently.
Buongiorno.
London then responds by saying, hey, that's terrible, A, but also go ahead and flee, get out of the country, they're gonna find you. They know what you look like, they know that you walk with a limp, and every time you take a step with your hollow wooden leg, there is a distinct wood noise. They're gonna catch you. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing, but to this, Virginia basically said, hold my leg and watch this shit. Rather than flee, she decides that she's going to orchestrate a jailbreak of the other 12 spies that have been captured. But she's playing it on hardcore mode because the Germans know that they're looking for the limping lady, and every time she takes a step with her hollow wooden leg, it makes a wood noise. And then her plot armor activates and divine intervention kicks in because supplies into France are so low and so scarce that they're no longer getting rubber and leather to make shoes out of anymore, and people have to start carving their shoes out of wood, and all of a sudden
she can blend right in.
Everybody's walking around making wood noises, completely disguising her movements. So rather than fleeing the country, she tracks down the prison that the 12 spies are being held at, then finds somebody that works at the prison, convinces them to get her a roster of the prison.
Sorry, I gotta send this.
Uses that to track down.
Gotta go back. I'm sorry.
She tracks down the prison that the 12 spies are being held at, then finds somebody that works at the prison, convinces them to get her a roster of the prisoners, uses that to track down a different, completely unrelated prisoner's wife on the outside, befriend her, and convince her to help her. Virginia, not wanting to be seen herself because they know what she looks like, decides that she's going to have this other prisoner's wife start smuggling in supplies to the 12 spies and, by extent, this woman's husband. Like they're baking handcuff keys and screwdrivers into cakes and shit to smuggle these supplies in. And this goes so well that she decides she's really gonna start showing off. She's gonna try to smuggle in an entire wireless set into the prisoners. And the wireless set is like the size of a briefcase. So she gets a 70-year-old priest that's a double amputee from World War I to smuggle this briefcase in by sitting on it in his wheelchair. And he ends up giving it to the other spies that actually know how to use the equipment. Here's the thing, the spies on the inside needed a really big antenna to make this thing work. So they ran a wire from their cell into this like wireless setup outside across the yard and attached it to the boundary fence using the entire fence as an antenna, and somehow never.
And no one, I was just about to ask, and no one noticed? No one noticed? Superior race, huh? Wild. That's embarrassing.
Never got caught. So now the spies are transmitting messages from inside the prison directly to London. So fast forward like a month, Virginia has smuggled these guys everything they need to be able to break out from the inside, and once they get outside the boundary fence, she is going to be there to pick them up, get them to a safe house, and smuggle them out of the country. Everything is completely arranged. Then on the day of the jailbreak, Virginia makes sure that somebody else tries to smuggle in a bunch of booze to the prisoners, knowing that they would get caught and that the guards would end up drinking all the alcohol that night.
Meaning that the guard, that's escape night right there. I can already tell. Guards are going to confiscate the booze, they're going to drink it, they're going to be drunk, and they're not going to notice these 12 spies leave.
Making it easier for the spies to slip away. Which is exactly what happens that night. All the guards are drinking, partying.
Superior race, huh? Jesus. I don't even know how you Nazi sympathizers or you fucking Nazi supporters that, like, I don't even know how y'all can look at these people as, like, smart or effective. Hey, don't get me wrong, the Blitzkrieg was fire, but, like, dude, this isn't the first story of just, like, them getting embarrassed. And this time it's by one person. Embarrassed. Pathetic. Fucking losers. It, like, yet somehow, some way, these fucking cocksucker ass fairies today would have us believe.
And having a good time, and while that's going on, the spies are utilizing the handcuff keys and all the tools Virginia smuggled in to escape. They run across the yard under the cover of night, scale the perimeter fence, and waiting there is Virginia, who immediately takes them to a safe house. They hide for 2 weeks straight while the entire Gestapo is searching everywhere for them, and then she smuggles them out of the country. Okay, fast forward a month. It's November 1942. She just staged that huge jailbreak. All the Germans are looking for her, and now the Gestapo has brought in an additional 500 men, all with the sole purpose of finding the limping lady. It is at this moment Virginia decides it's probably time to leave. But with 500 new Gestapo all looking for a woman with a limp, she can't take any of the normal ways out of the country, so the only method she has to escape is to take the Pyrenees Freedom Trail, a 50-mile hike through the Pyrenees Mountains to cross the border between France and Spain. And
all that on a wooden fucking leg. Damn. It's either this or you're gonna get fucking destroyed by the Germans. So, yeah. You know their fucking weak, small wiener asses would just love to kill a female.
she has to do it in November in the coldest winter for France in over 200 years. It is a 3 to 4 day hiking trail for people doing it for fun, not in the middle of winter, and Virginia manages to do it in 2 days with a wooden leg. During her hike, she was communicating with London via radio, not like secret spy radio.
Be surprised what you can do when you're running away from death.
Just normal radio transmissions. It wasn't going to blow her cover. She was already blown and she was leaving anyways, so it didn't really matter. And she would tell London that Cuthbert was giving her issues because I'm sure, as you can imagine, hiking with a wooden leg would get pretty tiresome after a while.
Would appear so, wouldn't it?
To which London, not knowing who Cuthbert was, responded by saying, if Cuthbert is giving you problems, have him eliminated.
Take him out.
Take him out.
So she crosses the border into Spain after 2 days, complete badass. She has escaped the Nazis, and 48 hours after she leaves Lyon, her entire hotel room gets ransacked because the Germans finally figured out who she was, and she had escaped just in the nick of time. And then she promptly gets arrested by Spanish authorities for illegal immigration. So then she has to get a message out to London, out to America. They finally come, bail her out. She goes back to London, working with the
Better be caught by the Spanish than the Nazis.
SOE, and she's like, okay, well, cool, send me back in. And they're like, no, your cover's blown. You've done all you're gonna do. That's it for you. We're not gonna let you do anything else as far as like actively working undercover goes. Again, I'm paraphrasing, but Virginia Hall basically says, okay, well, peace out, nerds. I'm gonna go work with the Americans. She goes over to America, goes to the OSS, the direct predecessor of the CIA, and is like, hey, I'm more experienced than any spy you guys have. Put me in, coach. To which the OSS is like, sure, why not? And they give her a shot. This time, Virginia makes sure that she takes a wireless transmitting class, though, so now she can also send the wireless transmitting signals. She doesn't want to be the only spy not able to, like last time. So she does that. She then realizes that she's going to have to pretend to be a much older woman. This would help disguise her limp, and it would help change her face so that they didn't know what she looked like anymore. So she goes to a professional Hollywood makeup artist, learns how to do makeup to look like a really old woman, and then she goes to a dentist in London that grinds all her teeth down so she looks like she has terrible teeth like a French peasant would. The OSS then...
You did that for real, for real. I think that was just a tad bit over dedication to the role, but I mean, whatever.
Sneaks her back into France on a PT boat and drops her off completely by herself again. And from there, she just starts doing it all over again. She develops a huge spy network again. This time, she's posing as an elderly milkmaid by day and a spy master by night. At this point in time, the French resistance had all kinds of guerrilla fighters, but they were basically just running around blowing shit up, being as big of a nuisance as they possibly could, and weren't being strategic about it at all. So over the course of the next year and a half, Virginia set out to establish a chain of command and actually get them to work together and coordinate attacks and efforts. By 1944, she had amassed an entire army. She had 3 battalions, 1,500 guerrilla fighters that she was coordinating attacks against the Germans with from the inside, all while transmitting signals to the Americans to have them drop off supplies like guns and explosives to continue fighting with. She would then be notified that in June of 1944, D-Day was going to happen, and in the weeks leading up to it, she used her guerrilla army to coordinate and sabotage major highways, railroads, communication lines, and bridges, preventing the Germans from reinforcing the right beaches in a timely fashion, potentially changing the entire course of D-Day. And somewhere around this time frame, the OSS would send in a
She was pure chaos on the battlefield. That's it. That's it. Trying to think of a good comparison. If America is Superman and Germany is Darkseid, she's the fucking Joker. Really. The Queen of Mayhem. Just causing all kinds of fucking problems. Just massive disruption. Massive chaos. Massive amounts of distraction. That's what she is.
Reinforcement to help Virginia out, a young Polish operative by the name of Paul Giat. He parachuted into theater too late to have any real influence on the operation, but him and Virginia would end up falling in love. After the war, they would both move back home to America, where Paul would get his citizenship, and they would both begin their careers working for the newly found CIA. They would then go on to lead a specialized task force monitoring communism in the Eastern Bloc of Europe. Yeah, this incredible story literally ends with two spies falling in love and going out on missions together.
Looking for a zero sugar snack that tastes delicious? Then look no further than Bavarian Meats. Unlike most snacks that make you...
In 1945, President...
You know what's funny is, like, I would call bullshit on that in the movies. Like, okay, y'all are both spies and y'all just so happen to fall in love with each other. Kind of like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Like, bro, what are actually the odds that two super people like you, but okay. But no, turns out that's an actual possibility. So
President Truman wanted to give Virginia the Distinguished Service Cross, the highest honor a civilian could receive, because technically spies weren't in the military, so they're ineligible for the Medal of Honor. But President...
Man, he's gonna say something, but that should have never been the case. They were behind enemy lines, bro. If you're behind enemy lines, come on. I don't really care what your job title says.
Because technically spies weren't in the military, so they're ineligible for the Medal of Honor. But President Truman wanted to give this to her in a humongous ceremony, tell her story, and make her basically an international hero and celebrity. Virginia, however, declined that offer because she didn't want her cover blown. She still wanted to be operational and capable of helping the United States and the world if she was needed. She became the only female civilian of World War II to be awarded the Distinguished Service Cross, and was awarded to her by General William Donovan, and by her own request, it was awarded in front of only one witness, her mom. Her future husband and fiance, Paul, wasn't there because she didn't think her mother would approve. This woman was behind enemy lines fighting against the Nazis for all of World War II.
And she's worried about what her mother's gonna think about her new partner.
Entire thing, longer than probably any other American, and she's still scared of the opinions of mom. And that's it, Virginia.
I think that's most people, though. Most people. I've seen some of the most badass looking dudes get brought down to fucking reality so fast and so hard by their moms. So, like, yeah, that's...
Virginia and Paul would live happily ever after. They retired at 60 years old, and Virginia would pass away at the age of 76 in 1982. And nobody knew anything about this until they read her obituary.
And hell, dude, I'm to the point now where I'd to this day I'd still much rather deal with bullets than deal with my mom's chancleta. So fuck that.
Where she never gave an interview, she never wrote a memoir, she never said a single thing. And later in life, when she was asked why she never talked about it, she said, and I quote, "Too many of my friends died for talking too much." Which I think we can all agree is gangster as fuck. So in conclusion, this is a story of Virginia Hall, the
On top of that, bro, I think she was the type of person that she didn't require credit. At least verbally, anyways. She just went out and did her shit, and she earned respect. She earned praise. She earned awards. She earned everything. She didn't have to demand it.
Deadliest spy of World War II.
She didn't have to say it. She just let her actions speak for her. And that was it. You don't have to.
For watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over at thefatelectrician.com.
Oh yeah.
Quack bang out.
Huzzah.
The fact that people know and care more about Kim Kardashian over Virginia Hall is going to piss me off probably for the rest of forever.
I think the fact that people care more about the Kardashians than, I don't know, anything pisses me off. I think it's fucking stupid. And if you keep up with the Kardashians, I think you're fucking stupid. Through and through. All the way. I know we all have our vices for entertainment. It's just that your vice is dumber than everyone else's. Sleep on that. I hope it makes you feel bad. Fucking bitch makes me want to throw up out of my asshole. Ugh. All right. Huzzah. Oh, goddamn. Let me see what it was that I put in my watch later. I just like history in general. Really. Like, dude, over the past 2 days, I've been watching documentaries on like the world's most prolific gambling cheaters, like people that went to Vegas or Atlantic City or just like any place around the world and cheated the house for millions. And one thing that I discovered about myself watching these videos is that I love seeing casinos lose. I love when casinos lose. I love when they get robbed. I love when people take things from them. I love when people cheat the system. And watching these videos and these documentaries, I find myself rooting for the criminal more than the gaming commission. I'm just like, huh. That's interesting. Anyways. Please. Or I really gotta take some of this stuff off. God damn. I wish it would just start at the top. That's what it was. My wife left me for another man, then they both ended up in a life-threatening accident, and I was... It doesn't say after... Oh, and I was left to pick up the pieces. No. I thought I wanted to watch it. No. Because I feel like I'm just gonna be annoyed watching that. Like, when you say I was left to pick up the pieces, do you mean that you took care of their medical bills? Because I wouldn't spend a goddamn penny. I don't want to watch that. Okay. Oh, look, Flight is free with ads. Fuck yeah. May rewatch that again. Alright. Guys and gals, I'm out for the rest of the day. It was fun. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for chilling. I will see y'all tomorrow. Whether tomorrow is Twitch or YouTube, I will let you know in the Discord. Just stay tuned to the Discord, or if I make a community post on YouTube. aside from that, yeah, I'm gonna go fuck off for the rest of the day. But I will see y'all tomorrow. So if y'all need anything, y'all can hit me up, at me, DM me. If not, yeah. All right. Love you guys. Thanks for hanging.